Okay, yeah, so we are finally officially live. Hi, guys. Good evening. 4 days to cat. Ravi and I are here. I think you all had a session yesterday, which was AMA in DILR, in VARC with Jijo. We felt we'll do this across all three sections. So we'll focus a little on the DILR section today. Uh, it's more of an AMA that you can go ahead and ask us doubts. We also have a PPT to back up because we've got a few sets that we might want to go ahead and discuss depending upon the kind of questions that come up. And let me take this opportunity to say hi to Ravi while I wait for a couple of y'all to confirm that we're audible and visible. Hi, Ravi.
Hi, GB. Hi, everyone. I hope all of you are nervous because that is what you are supposed to be at this point in time. But yes, you should also be able to hold your nerves on the D-Day. But I hope all of you are doing good and staying healthy. That is more important at this point in time. So, GB, we can.
Absolutely. Yeah, like Ravi said, nerves are important. Nervous over tension. जितने ज़्यादा nerves हो उतना अच्छा है. If you read autobiographies of cricketers, they'll state the day I realized stepping onto the ground, I wasn't nervous any longer. It meant thank you very much. Retiring का time आ गया है. So this needs to mean a lot to you. So do ensure that you continue to be nervous. So yeah, it's open to you all. Any specific queries that you all might have with respect to DILR at this point in time? Anything going on in your head with respect to DILR at this point in time? Okay. Can you explain one thing? CAGR, SAGR, little confused because not face single set with CAGR. Okay, sure. What is the appropriate time to decide to leave a set? Okay. Ravi, tell gaya pen tab?
No, no. You share.
Okay.
Just trying to
Okay,
figure out.
perfect. What is the appropriate time to decide to leave a set? Okay. Just seeing the different kinds of questions which are coming. As we go ahead, we will pick up, most of what you are pointing out. So don't worry about that. In general, उत्सव मैं ये बोलता हूँ, अभी तक कोई concept नहीं आता तो छोड़ दो. Last week में ज़्यादा उसमें घुसो मत. But yeah, we'll pick it up. Sir, how CAGR is solved? Please help. Okay, ठीक है. उठा लेंगे. वो एक बंदे ने पूछ लिया. Now repetition आ रहा है कि हाँ यार ये भी है concept. तो ये भी ठीक है. पढ़ लेते हैं. So that's good. So we'll pick that up. I'll start off with a couple of the qualitative pointers before I start off with the quantitative pointers. Yeah, so let's start off with what is the appropriate time to decide to leave a set. So it boils down from person to person. I generally have a very strict rule in my head in terms of how I approach it. I kind of go ahead and very categorically state कि भैया if within the first 2 to 3 minutes I haven't understood the context behind what the table would be, rows क्या होने चाहिए, columns क्या होने चाहिए, structure नहीं बना पाया मैं. And when I say table, it just means representation. किसी और way से अगर represent करना है, that's okay. So if I'm not clear about the representation, if I'm not able to make the structure within the first 2.5 3 minutes, I will say that is quit. Then they have a second point, say structure बन गया, मैंने data डालना शुरू कर दिया. Within 6 minutes, I have not been able to fill roughly 50-60% of it. Looking at the questions, I realize यार अभी भी I am very far from what the question is actually asking me. मेरे को अभी within the next 2 to 3 minutes कुछ मिलने नहीं वाला है. That is also another categorical pointer for me that I need to quit. I need to leave this set and move on. So to me, there are these two specific indicators. First 2.5 to 3 minutes, indicator one, and the next indicator being what I stated, which is roughly around the 6 minute mark. So I keep these two indicators, but then this is for somebody like me who approaches the DILR set in a section in a very different way from Ravi. I approach it by spending the first 6 to 8 minutes looking at all sets and deciding the priority order, and then the remaining 32 to 34 minutes picking, solving the sets in the priority order I picked up, hoping कि 3 से 4 set at least कर पाऊं. Ravi, in case you want to come in, because your methodology is slightly different, to pick it one at
So,
a time.
so I think though the way we approach the exam at the beginning is different for GB sir and I, uh, but the way we look at a question and decide whether to solve it or leave it is almost similar. I mean, we will always take that call based on 4 or 5 major factors. One of them typically being that whether we are able to understand the setup, is the familiarity element playing in. Number two is how complex is the data given to us. whether I am able to figure out or visualize how my table is going to be or how my working is going to be based on the setup and the data points, right? And then more importantly, I will also try to look at what the questions are saying. I think the most important factor in terms of selection of questions, in my point of view, is deciding on the basis of the questions. What is the nature of the questions, whether it is an all five definite or is it a 2+3, 2 definite and 3 if kind of things, or what, right? So in that sense, I will have to take a call. I will take a call only after those 2-3 minutes of going through that set, right? So even if I have decided, even if I am someone who is making a priority order on the basis of familiarity in the first 5 minutes, even after that, when I get into a set, those 2-3 minutes, the first 2-3 minutes that I spend in the set are going to be the most important for me. If I'm not able to figure out visually I am not able to see a path ahead, then that set is not probably for me in the exam. Ghar aake kar lo, koi dikkat nahi hai, but that is not for me in the exam. The other part is, there's a hard stop of 6 minutes, as 6 to 7 minutes, as JB sir has mentioned. For me, again, it is that within the set, it is not always mandatory to solve all 4 or all 5 questions. If the first couple of questions come at a low effort and the next couple of questions you have to form multiple cases, I would probably be happy leaving the last 2 cases. So that is how I would leave the set also in between while solving that set, right? If there are other better sets out there, that is what that is what my plan of action would be. In between the set B, it is not mandatory you solve all 4 or 5 questions. If you can solve it. लेकिन अगर आपको लग रहा है बहुत एफर्ट मारना पड़ेगा इसके बाद, after the first 2 questions, it is okay to leave the set after the first 2 or the first 3 questions. JB.
Perfect. So Abhishek, your question has been answered between Ravi and me. I think we've categorically stated 2 cutoffs for us. First 2 to 3 minutes structure. Next 2 to 3 minutes में table हो गया है 50-60%. लग रहा है that I've been on the right path to solve at least a couple of questions, if not more, so on and so forth, within the next 2 to 3 minutes. नहीं लग रहा है अभी भी दूर हूँ, अभी भी समझ नहीं आ रहा क्या करना है. I'm stuck somewhere. Quit. Move on. Sunk cost. Don't waste time. Okay. Let's pick up Royal Army. Deciding the order of sets of attack I creates unnecessary panic. Instead, when I do the set in the given order, decide whether to solve now or not works for me after reading the set. Absolutely fine. This is exactly what I stated upfront. Between Ravi and me, we've got 2 different approaches to DILR. My approach is spending time identifying. Ravi's approach is doing exactly what you stated, Royal Army. If I bring in 3 more people, they could have 3 other approaches also, which is absolutely fine. There is no problem in any approach. Whatever approach works for you is the one that you should stick to. And at this point in time, don't even experiment. मतलब जीबी ने बोल दिया ये करना है नहीं करना, रवि ने बोल दिया ये करना है नहीं करना, जो आप चल रहा है वही करो. Until unless you are in a situation जहाँ पे already DILR में you're scoring less than 10 marks, and you're a general category student, because less than 10 might still mean sectional cutoff cleared if you're a category student. If you're a general category student, less than 10 score हो रहा है, sectional नहीं clear होगा, पता ही है वैसे भी कुछ नहीं होगा, then you might want to take a punt and try something else. I understand. But if you are even one of those जो 12 already score करते हैं on an average, तो भी मैं बोलूंगा अपना strategy मत change करो. On the day of CAT, 1 additional question, 2 additional हो गया, sectional हो जाएगा. So don't change your strategy at all. Please stick to what you're doing. And if Royal Army, for you, the strategy is similar to the way Ravi approaches it, absolutely fine. No problem at all. Okay? Every question, I won't, we won't give it to each of us, because तब हम लोग हर question में ही बहुत लंबा कर देंगे. So we'll probably distribute the questions. So maybe give this one to Ravi. Anticipating this might happen.
Anticipating this might happen in DILR, got 27 in QA last year, slot 3, attempted slot 1 and got 33. Feels low considering I used to get 35 to 47 in PYQs. Okay, so basically when you are solving PYQs, what happens is, by the time you are actually solving PYQs, you have gone through a number of topic tests, maybe you have gone through a number of sectional tests, you have gone through a number of mocks as well. So all those different types of questions or logics that are typically covered in the PYQs are covered in any of these sections. कहीं ना कहीं पे you would have come across something like that. So when you actually look at that PYQ, आपको देखा हुआ लगता है. But when you actually sit in the exam, right, though the topic may sound familiar to you, उस time पे वो चीज चमक रहा है कि नहीं, it is a game. That is the game at that point in time, right? So typically when you are sitting in the exam, the nerves that you will have is going to be a little different. The mindset that you will be in is going to be a little different, which will lead you to probably scoring a tad lesser than what you would have scored in the PYQs, but it doesn't mean that you will not be able to make it. What it essentially means is, ये जो टेंशन है ना कि मैंने PYQs में इतना स्कोर किया है, एक्चुअल पेपर में मेरा इतना आएगा कि नहीं, वो जो सरप्राइज एलिमेंट इन द एक्चुअल पेपर है, दैट इज गोइंग टू हैपन टू ऑल 3 लाख पीपल हु आर राइटिंग द एग्जाम. सो एट द एंड ऑफ द डे इट्स अ जीरो सम गेम. आपके कॉम्पिटिटर्स के साथ भी वही चीज होगा जो आपके साथ होगा. So don't worry about it. And the exam, when you are sitting in the exam, don't target any score. कुछ 25 लाना है, 27 लाना है, 30 लाना है, 35 लाना है, वो तो बाद में रिजल्ट आने के बाद पता चलेगा बॉस. In the exam, you just have to think, मैं कितने नंबर ला सकता हूँ in terms of how many questions can I solve. जो मेरे सामने दिख रहा है वो मैं कर पा रहा हूँ कि नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ. अगर मैं नहीं कर पा रहा तो कोई नहीं कर पा रहा. अगर मैं कर पा रहा हूँ तो मैं इसलिए कर पा रहा हूँ क्योंकि मैं प्रिपेयर करके आया. As GB has stated multiple times, that should be the attitude you carry in the exam.
Perfect. So I'll pick up this one because this is also in sync. I think we premeditated कि ये तो आएगा ही question कि at this point in time किन चीजों पे focus करूँ, किसको revise करूँ, क्या करूँ. And that's what this current slide in the PPT is all about. What we've done is we don't want to come up with any conjecture. ना रवि कंजेक्चर करेगा, ना मैं करूंगा, ना जीपी, कोई हम कंजेक्चर नहीं करेंगे. हम डेटा देखेंगे. What does data state with respect to all previous year questions from CAT 2017 to 2024, which means ever since CAT started giving us the paper. Okay, 16 तक memory based होता था, वो release नहीं होता था. 17 to 24 release हुआ है. What we've done is we've bucketed it into specific topics. So if you have a look at this, the first is reasoning based DI. DI होगा कोई logic के basis पे solve करो, matrix and grade, matrix arrangement, Venn diagram, scheduling and matrix, unconventional and hybrid games and tournament, mathematical AR, order ranking. So these are the different topics that you look at. Sum total, if we are looking at of all the sets across this, is about 102 sets. These 102 sets may, if I look at the first 6 topics here that are mentioned here, on your screen. If I look at the first 6, which means I am talking about these 6. If you add them, that's 21, 29, 37, 46, 52. Missing data generally मेरे को एक personal उससे रहता है biasness, because missing data के sets generally I have seen simple number based logic या generally वो sudoku logic of this number will not repeat more than once in a row or in a column and उसके basis. So if I'm adding these, we are talking about roughly 56 sets out of the 102. So we are saying approximately 55% of the total sets that have come in CAT over the last 8 years have been from these topics. So again, we're not going to jump the gun and state yahi se aayega, but it seems like these are some of the important topics that CAT likes to pick up sets from. Even if we have a look at it from the perspective of the last 3 to 4 years, इन्हीं topics में bucket हो जाते हैं. And if you're able to handle these topics more often than not, बाकी के जो नीचे आएंगे ना, logic based table, order and ranking and all, mathematical, yeah, वो anyways आप कर लोगे because the concepts that are used are more or less the same. So my recommendation, in case you are looking at anything very specific, मतलब एक तो मैं बोलूंगा मत करो ये, but in case you are looking at something very specific to do or revise over the course of the next 4 to 5 days, maybe you can go ahead and look at some of the sessions of these topics. It might hold you in good stead. So that's basically all that I would like to add from that perspective. One other thing that I would just like to add here is, DILR डर हमें ये रहता है कि जनरली ये बहुत डिफिकल्ट सेक्शन है. I saw somebody was also stating, what if I come across a DILR section where I'm unable to attempt anything? Let us first look at the reality of what has happened again over the last 7 to 8 years. Of the 102 sets, if you look at this, 57 sets, you can say roughly again about 55 to 60% के range के बीच में ही, roughly 55 to 60% of the sets were medium or easier, moderate or easier. So please keep this in mind that on an average, at least 2 sets, if there are 4, 2.5 sets, whatever you want to look at it, if there are 5, would generally be classified as easy or moderate. Now, अलग बात है एग्जाम में मेरे को easy लगा कि नहीं, moderate लगा कि नहीं, is separate. But what I want you to take from this particular slide is feel a little calm and composed कि their objective of the paper setter is not to screw your happiness. दे आर नॉट आउट देयर कि भैया आज ना इसको मैं रुला के रहूंगा, ये ऑब्जेक्टिव नहीं है. ऑब्जेक्टिव उन लोग का ये है, मैंने ये 4-5 सेट दे दिए हैं, एवरेज, on an average student should be able to attempt roughly around 6 to 7 questions, 6 to 8 questions. Above average maybe about 10 to 12, very good students maybe 15 to 17. That is generally a thought process. So ऐसा नहीं होगा या ऐसा चांस कम है दैट पेपर ऐसा आएगा कि चारों के चारों या पांचों के पांचों सेट नहीं सॉल्व कर पाओगे. द मेंटालिटी नीड्स टू बी, आई लुक एट सेट 1 नहीं हो रहा, ओके, सेट 2 नहीं हो रहा, सेट 3 नहीं हो रहा, तो अब सेट 3 के एंड पे मेंटालिटी होनी चाहिए नेक्स्ट 2 तो डुएबल होने चाहिए. द मेंटालिटी शुड बी सच, each time a set feels difficult and you move it, rather than feeling bad, feel good that okay, now for me the confusion is lesser. Now I will need to choose that 1 set or 2 set or 3 sets out of a lesser number of sets. Your confusion has not increased, it has reduced. Look at it that perspective. Second, like Ravi stated and something which I love stating always, मैं नहीं कर पाया तो कोई नहीं कर पाया, मैं एटलीस्ट 6 मिनट में समझ गया मैं नहीं कर पाया. हो सकता है वहां पे उसने 15 मिनट लगा दिए नहीं करने में, मैं ऑलरेडी जीत गया, 9 मिनट बचे हुए हैं. दैट इज द नेम ऑफ द गेम इन दिस सेशन, in this section. Yeah, Ravi.
Yeah. So coming to, if you could go back to that arrangements wala slide, DB.
Yeah.
The type of questions wala slide.
Yeah.
See, I could probably stick my neck out and say कि arrangement के बिना पेपर नहीं आता. One odd arrangement will be there. That could be in the basis on the type of a tick cross matrix, or it could be scheduling या फिर project management. It is basically arrangement time after time. Slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, right? Interviews का type का question आ जाता है, या फिर 4 people and 4 different parameters kind of questions come. But there will be one odd set of arrangements and one odd set of DI. These are the ones that will typically appear in all the papers that we have seen so far, right? So based on that, I can say these are the ones that absolutely आना चाहिए. But आना चाहिए का मतलब ये नहीं है कि पेपर में जाके solve करोगे ही, because within arrangements also there will be some sets which will be very difficult. आना चाहिए का मतलब ये है कि you should you are in a position to understand the level of difficulty of the questions and the set, and on that basis take the right call. राइट आएगा, अरेंजमेंट आएगा. वेन डायग्राम 1 out of 3 स्लॉट्स में तो आता ही है नॉर्मली, राइट? मे बी गेम्स का भी एक आध गेम्स टाइप दिखने वाला क्वेश्चन तो तीनों में से एक स्लॉट में किसी ना किसी में आ ही जाता है. तो इन दैट सेंस
उसमें गेम्स का लॉजिक यूज होगा कि नहीं पता नहीं,
दैट्स अ कंप्लीटली डिफरेंट स्टोरी. वो दिखता गेम्स है, it will look like games, but it may not be using the concepts of games and tournaments that we learn in a knockout or a round robin. So those kind of things can also happen. So that is why I am reiterating on this, don't take the call only on the basis of familiarity कि मैं ये करूंगा ये नहीं करूंगा. Also when GB says कि मैं शुरू के 5 मिनट में I go through the entire paper and I decide my priority order, he is not saying his priority order is 3, 5, 4, 1, 2 means वो पांचों सेट करने का कोशिश करेंगे इस ऑर्डर में, इन दैट ऑर्डर. इट्स नॉट दैट ये गेम्स है तो मैं नहीं करूंगा, करने से पहले या छोड़ने से पहले, और ये अरेंजमेंट है तो मैं कर दूंगा, करने से पहले या छोड़ने से पहले दैट 2 minutes ऑफ टाइम यू स्पेंड ऑन इट. यू विल अंडरस्टैंड हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है, नहीं हो रहा है छोड़ दो. नो वरीज इफ यू लीव अ सेट ऑफ अरेंजमेंट इन द एग्जाम.
Considering you stated that, we'd actually gone ahead and preempted that and created a very simple slide on that as well, because this is again a question that is there कि आप चूज कैसे करते हो, एक आप सेट चूज कैसे करते हो, सेकंड आप प्रायोरिटाइज कैसे करते हो. तो मेरे लिए हो सकता है प्रायोरिटाइजेशन की जरूरत हो, रवि के लिए हो सकता है जरूरत ना हो, बट हम दोनों के लिए चूजिंग जरूरी है. रवि फर्स्ट देख के बोल देगा मेरे को करना है या नहीं करना, मैं ये देखूंगा पांचों देख के कि फर्स्ट मेरे को कब करना है, वो लास्ट करना है, वो थर्ड करना है, वो फर्स्ट करना है, दैट्स अ सेपरेट स्टोरी. बट बोथ ऑफ अस आर चूजिंग, वी आर चूजिंग इट इन डिफरेंट वेज. So the parameters or the elements that we are looking at, one, the genre. Familiarity as an element जरूर देखते हैं, रवि भी देखता है, मैं भी देखता हूं, बट बिकॉज familiar है करेंगे, that is not happening. Familiar है, that is one check, one tick. There are 4-5 things we are seeing, one of those things has been ticked. ठीक है. So among the first two, which means identify कर लिया familiar है कि नहीं. ठीक है. Next we start looking for clues, we start looking at questions. Question देखा भाई, familiar है लेकिन all questions are if then. 3 of those questions are maxima minima with if then. All 3 of them are theta. जितना भी familiar हो, probability of success in these sort of sets is lower. Probability of feeling confident with these sort of sets is also lower. And because of lack of confidence, तुम डगमगाओगे. You might end up spending more time, you might be unsure, you don't know what will happen, it might impact other sets. So whether I will do it or not, I don't know. Left up to imagination at this point in time. Next, when I'm looking at the questions, are they very complex? Is it that 2 or 3 questions are basis the data given, the remaining 2 questions के लिए additional data डाल दिया? तो भैया हो सकता है कि इस सेट में मेरे को समझ आए ये additional data के वजह से entire table might change, entire representation might change. So maybe I don't want to do this set in totality, I only want to do the first 1 or 2 questions because वो तो directly मुझे दिख रहा है from the data and the way it was arranged and mentioned. We take that into consideration. And finally, the last thing that we take into consideration once again from the options is, are the options in any which way helping me reach to a certain conclusion when I've created my table, when I've created whatever representation I've created. क्या मेरे को data मिल रहा है? And having said that, there is one particular set that I will go to once Ravi has also spoken about this particular slide. There is one particular set that I'll go to, which is from my slot of CAT 2020. And again, I will not want to solve the entire set, but I will tell you why looking at that set, I felt I wanted to attempt it. And just give you the opening of मैं open कैसे करता. And if you have a look at it, and maybe you solved that set, I hope you have. And if you had a look at what others did in that 2020 year, that was one set that they left. It was a 6 question set because paper pattern change हुआ था, 6644 हो गया था. 6 questions वो लोग ने सोचा हमें करना है नहीं करना, अटक गए if you did not use that methodology. So Ravi, over to you before I get to that.
Yeah. So
again, just one thing. पर प्रथमेश will get to your question. I already have the sheet. Okay, ऐसा होगा. क्या होगा बातें हैं. Over to you, Ravi. Sorry.
Yeah. So I will again focus only on that point. Check familiarity. I'm reiterating. I'll not get tired of saying this 1,000 times. Familiarity, you will check it, but through familiarity, if you have solved enough sets of games and tournaments, you will understand that you are familiar to it, but you'll also understand that probably it is a complicated one, right? So same logic applies to algebra के questions और geometry के questions. I know that ये question function से है और ये pattern से बनता है, but मेरे को ये भी दिख रहा है कि 7-8 step है, तो why is it my round 1 question? It need not be, right? So all of these factors must be taken into consideration without fail. And I think most important factor is questions and options. Is there any help from the questions that you are going to get? That will decide whether the set is doable or not, right? Yeah, Jimmy.
Perfect. So maybe Ravi, I'll probably pick up that set, the set that we were discussing some time back as well. I'll maybe pick that up just from the context of completeness. We've carried a few sets like we stated, guys. The objective being कि हम बीच में discuss करते रहे and we bring in those elements. So this is the set. It's a CAT 2020 set. Chat box में लिखो how many of y'all have seen this, number 1. Number 2, seen and solved. Number 3, how long did you take on an average to solve this? So chat box में लिखो. While I'm reading this, I'll come back to the chat in about a minute or so while you go ahead and write that. Okay, let's read this set. A farmer had a rectangular land containing 205 trees. He distributed that land among his 4 daughters, A, B, C, D, by dividing the land into 12 plots along 3 rows X, Y, Z and 4 columns 1, 2, 3 and 4. ठीक है, okay. The plots in rows X, Y, Z contained mango, teak and pine trees respectively. Now, generally when I do this, word respectively आता है, बहुत खुश हो जाता हूँ, मतलब X is mango, Y is teak, Y is teak and Z is pine. Respectively का ये मतलब है, तो मैं यहाँ mango लिख देता हूँ, Y को हम लोग लिख देते हैं teak और इसको लिख देते हैं pine. मैंने वापस से MTP नहीं लिखा, फिर मैं कंफ्यूज हो जाता है, M है X है, तो आई जस्ट रोट 2 letters just for my own convenience. You can go by whatever you feel comfortable with. Each plot had trees in non-zero multiples of 3 or 4 and none of the plots had the same number of trees. Each daughter got an even number of plots. ठीक है, टोटल नंबर ऑफ प्लॉट्स कितने हमें ये पता है, 3 rows 4 columns, तो कितने प्लॉट होंगे, 3 into 4 which is 12. डाउट हो रहा है तो गिन लेना, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. यहाँ पे ज्यादा ब्रेन लगाने की जरूरत नहीं है, फिगर इज देयर. ठीक है, ओके. Each plot has trees in multiples of 3 or 4. None of the plots have the same number of trees. Each daughter got an even number of plots. Important. Each daughter got even number of plots. Now there are 4 daughters, categorically mentioned, right? That there are 4 daughters. 4 daughter को even number of plots मिलने हैं, and sum has to be 12. तो मेरे को 4 even numbers जिनका sum 12 है वो चाहिए. कैसे हो सकता है? Let's think of highest. मैं 12 से शुरू करता हूँ, बाकी 0 हो जाएगा, not possible. 10 से शुरू करता हूँ, 1 2 होगा, 2 0 हो जाएंगे, नॉट पॉसिबल. 0 तो होगा नहीं, ईच ऑफ देम इवन नंबर ऑफ प्लॉट्स है, तो मिनिमम 2. प्लीज डोंट कंसिडर 0 टू बी इवन until unless it's categorically stated. If it's not stated, even starts with 2. Please keep that in mind. So 8 अगर करता हूँ, 8 2 2 वहीं 12 हो गया, लास्ट वाले को कुछ नहीं मिल रहा, तो 6 पे आ जाता हूँ, 6 2 2 2. That is a possibility. Yes, I am happy. 4 पे आ जाते हैं. 4 means I need 12 more, so 4 4 2 2 is a possibility, because 4 6 2 करूंगा तो 0 हो जाएगा. These are the only possibilities that I have. There are no other possibilities. There are just 2 possibilities. I am happy with this कि number of plots जो होंगे 4 daughter में ऐसे distributed होगा. ठीक है. In the figure, the number mentioned in the top left corner of a plot is the number of trees in that plot, while the letter in the bottom right corner is the first letter of the name of the daughter who got that plot. Number of trees, name of the daughter. And as always, they will go ahead and give an example. Abha got the plot in row Y and column 1 containing 21 trees. Row Y, column 1 containing 21 trees. Perfect, lovely. Some information in the figure got erased, but it is known. Now this is what I call additional info. I don't like reading it when I'm looking at a question. I come to it later. So I start looking at questions pehle. How many mango trees were there in total? Direct है, अच्छा है. Total mango चाहिए होगा, मतलब मेरे को row total चाहिए. Okay. Which of the following is the correct sequence of trees received by Abha, Beena, Chitra and Dipti in that order? Best part, look at all the numbers. They are all different. मतलब इनमें से मेरे को एक भी नंबर अगर मिल गया, मेरे को चारों का मिल जाएगा. Imagine I get that Beena is supposed to be 39. Then Abha has to be 60, Chitra has to be 40, Dipti has to be 66. So I need one number, because as you can see, 50, 60, 44, 54, all different. 69, 39, 87, 57, all different. ऐसे देखोगे all are different. एक भी नंबर मिल गया, all solved. I suddenly start getting happy. डेटा कुछ मिल सकता है मुझे यहाँ से. एक नंबर निकालना है, बाकी मेरे को ऑप्शंस दे सकते हैं. So I get happy. How many pine trees did Chitra receive? Okay, ठीक है. Maybe कुछ ऑप्शन से निकले. I don't know at this point in time. Who got the plot with the smallest number of trees and how many trees did that plot have? I don't know much about this, पर ये देख के ये तो समझ आ रहा है, तो किसी को भी plot of 2, 1 and 0 tree तो नहीं मिलेगा. Maybe this information is useful for me. I don't know. Which of the following statements is not true? This is again a very, very interesting question. Why? Because only one of them can be not true, matlab 3 of them will be true. So there could once again be some data that I could end up getting from this. I don't know whether I will or not, but I might. समझो हाइपोथेटिकली मैंने कुछ कर लिया और मेरे को पता चला यार बीना को टोटल नंबर ऑफ ट्रीज जो मिलने चाहिए थे मल्टीपल ऑफ 3 है, हाइपोथेटिकली. कि बीना को टोटल जो मिलना चाहिए था मल्टीपल ऑफ 3 है, मतलब बीना गॉट 32 तो रॉन्ग होगा, मतलब ये तीनों राइट होंगे. Even without knowing बीना को कितना मिलेगा, I know D is wrong, that means A, C and B are right. That is information for me. So I'm looking at the question, I'm like information मिल सकता है. और finally, which column at the highest number of trees? इसमें बस इतना पता है 1 पे नहीं है, बाकी उससे ज्यादा है. So no information possible. But मेरे को दिख रहा है 2, 5, maybe there is some info that is there. Now I go to the additional info. Let's read. Abha got 20 trees more than Chitra, but 6 trees less than Dipti. ठीक है. Largest number of trees in a plot was 32, but it was not with Abha. I'm just reading right now. The number of teak trees in column 3 was double the number in column 2, but was half that in column 4. ठीक है. Both Abha and Beena got a higher number of plots than Dipti. I stop. Why? Because this is related to something that I had already derived from the setup, the earlier part of the setup. I had already derived that the possibilities of the distribution between the plots is 6,222 and 4,422. The moment I read this, both Abha and Beena got a higher number than Deepti. I know A, comma B greater than D. A, comma B greater than D. That means 2 people are greater than D. 6,222 में 2 being greater than 1 possibility is not there. A की 6 है, 2 6 है नहीं, बाकी तीनों 2 है, मतलब A and B 2 हो सकते थे. So they are greater than D is not possible. So the only possibility now is 4,422. And A and B have to be greater than D, मतलब D is 2. So I automatically know D equals 2, A equals 4, B equals 4, C equals 2. यहां तक आ गया. अब यहां पे आके I will automatically stop and not go further because now I remember the questions that I had read, and this is why we read questions earlier. One of the questions was how many pine trees did Chitra receive? I have just got कि चित्रा के पास टोटल ही 2 प्लॉट है, एक प्लॉट पे तो 12 है, एक सेकंड प्लॉट यही होना होगा और तो कुछ हो ही नहीं सकता. So number of pine trees is the number that she will get here. Now look at this. If Chitra gets 15 pine trees, she already had 12. Please keep in mind mango. Her total number of trees become 12 plus 15, which is 27. That means total number of trees with Chitra should be 27. Look at question 2. Total number of trees with Chitra. What are the possibilities? 30, 40, 24, 34. 27 तो है ही नहीं, ये नहीं हो सकता. Similarly, चित्रा के पाइन ट्रीज अगर 21 है, 12 मैंगो है, टोटल नंबर ऑफ ट्रीज 33 हो गए. Once again 33 is not there in the options. It's 30, 40, 24, 34. ये भी गया. अगर 30 है नंबर ऑफ पाइन ट्रीज, 30 plus 12 becomes 42. Again look at the options. 30, 40, 24, 34. Not there. Only 18 is possible. That means she gets 18 pine. 18 plus 12 करते हो वो 30 होता है. 30 एक ही ऑप्शन में, मतलब मेरे को ये भी मिल गया that the number of trees with Abha is 50, number with Beena is 69, number with Chitra is 30, number with Deepti is 56, and 2 questions have been answered. I will stop it here rather than going forward. और भी चीजें निकल सकती है, but I hope this gives you an indicator of why we stated look at questions and why we stated look at the options and why we state read them while reading the set. The way I do it is I don't read additional data, I read setup. Setup से थोड़ा बहुत समझता हूं like I did right now. Then I look at the questions. Then additional data देखता हूं, इसी में समझ आ जाता है मेरे को ये करना है कि नहीं. Clear? I hope this was helpful to you all in terms of understanding the funda behind utilizing options and getting information from options. Now, this was a 6 question set. As you can see, not a lot of people tried attempting it. Not a lot of people were successful at it, but options were very, very helpful. समझ आया? Clear? Perfect. Okay. So this is something that we now it sounds good. It looks good. Implementation is the key. Looking good today is not going to help you 5 days later. So we've done a lot of this in RT99 also. We've done a lot of this in a number of sessions we've done. The objective is reinforcing what we've done before. Okay, reinforcing. Okay, that's it. Yeah, Ravi, back to you.
I think GB, just one more thing to add in this set only. If you look at the last statement that says the number of mango trees was double the number of take trees.
Yeah.
Right?
The
And
options.
the question is how much. First question is how many mango trees were there. एक number का दूसरा double 49, 98 are visible in the options. Most likely that is the answer.
Yeah.
98 must be the answer to this. Okay.
So,
This happens
just
not only
carrying
in
on
DIL.
from what Ravi is saying. Just carrying on from Ravi saying, मैं punt ले लेता, मैं 98 49 लेके मैं सेटअप कर लेता कि 98 मैंगो है, 49 टी कोई टोटल 205 है, तो पाइन कितने आएंगे.
करेक्ट.
पाइन इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग कुछ 58 या कुछ आता. एंड अभी हम लोग ने जो सॉल्व किया उससे ऑलरेडी सी के पास 18 पाइन आ गए, ये हो गया. सम टोटल करो ऑलरेडी 55 हो गया, मतलब बी के पास 3 आएंगे. लुक, इवन द फिफ्थ क्वेश्चन इज आंसर्ड.
करेक्ट.
So sometimes basis this you can take a punt, go ahead, solve. At max क्या होगा, गलत हो जाएगा ना, गलत हो जाएगा, पता चल जाएगा गलत है. You can go back to something else. Anyways you will not know मेरे को start कहां से करना है, इतना ज्यादा information है. This could be a good starting point. Yeah, Ravi.
And this logic helps quite a lot of times in questions of quant also. जहां पे एक चीज दूसरे का डबल होना होता है, वो दोनों ऑप्शंस में अवेलेबल होते हैं. Because great paper setters may not be great option setters. Right? So in that sense, it is important. Again, if you look at Abha got 41 take trees now. You know, once you have figured out question 2, question 3, or you have tried it with question 1, it starts automatically, data starts flowing to you, right? So that is why reading questions are important. GB, if you could go to the last set on similar lines. Or shall I share?
You want to share? You can share. लिखना है ना तेरे को?
Yeah.
You can share.
So can you put it on screen?
Yeah, doing it. Just give me a second, guys. Add it.
Yeah. So this is where we were stressing on that point of familiarity, and don't take a call only on the basis of familiarity. So this is a set that on the outset of it looks like games and tournament, because it is talking about a game or a sport being played by 4 women. Now this is a set that appeared in CAT 2022, and this was one of the easiest sets in the exam. So just like you did for the last question, just let me know how much time did you take to solve it. If you have already solved it, what were your concerns with this? Just put that in the chat box while I go ahead and try to unfold the facts of the question. So again, the approach is similar in terms of question setup. मैं जब पढ़ रहा हूँ, I'm going to keep my mind open, not apprehensive कि ये games है तो मैं छोड़ दूंगा, या फिर ये set theory है तो मैं छोड़ दूंगा, या मैं arrangement है तो करूंगा. Just read the setup slowly, carefully. It says that the management of a university hockey team, so hockey team दिख रहा है, लोग सोचेंगे games है, was evaluating performance of 4 women players A, B, H and S for their possible selection in the university team for next year. So there are 4 players A, B, H and S.
Just one sec, Ravi, because I think it's a very pertinent question which somebody has picked up. They are stating the issue is here, you can see all questions all together, but in the exam it's difficult to do so. भाई एक बहुत ही मस्त बटन है जो होपफुली लास्ट 1 साल में आपने रेगुलरली यूज किया है, और नहीं किया तो एटलीस्ट अब तो कर लो, जिसका नाम है क्वेश्चन पेपर बटन.
Correct.
Please use that button. Click on question paper button. You can look at all questions at one go along with the mother data. So there is no benefit that Ravi is getting when he is solving this, or I am getting, or anybody. Please use that. In case you didn't know, I hope now you know. Please do it. Sorry, Ravi, because I felt it was very pertinent here.
Absolutely. Right? Then it says that for this purpose, that management was looking at the number of goals scored by each of them in past 8 matches. So 4 players, 8 matches का data दिया रहेगा, numbered 1 through 8. The 4 players together had scored a total of 12 goals in these matches. So in total of 8 matches, 12 goals were scored. 12 goals were scored. In the 8 matches, each of them had scored at least 1 goal. Okay? no two players had scored the same total number of goals. So the total number of goals scored by all four of them is different. So you will be able to clearly identify who is first, who is second, who is third, who is fourth. Till now, if you only read it, you will understand. You will probably think, कि boss, यहाँ तक भी आपको लग सकता है it's a games वाला question. But it is basically what it is telling us is, what mind map I have at this moment itself is that, okay, there are four players, A, B, H, and S. And then there are going to be 8 games in which they will score some goals. And I already know the total sum. I already know that the total sum is going to be 12. Right? And then there is some additional data given. Right? Additional data is given only about these four players. All the questions refer to the goals scored by these four players only. So there is nothing outside of it that is going to come. Now I'll read the questions. Question 1 can set me up on a back foot. It says how many goals were scored in match 7, and there is an option called cannot be determined. I can think at this moment that probably I may not be able to determine every value in the table. But the moment you read question 2 along with question 1, you will understand which of the following is the correct sequence of goals scored in match 1, 3, 5, and 7. And match 7 ka cannot be determined is not there in the option. So this is out. Match 7 mein the only possible numbers are 1 and 2. So this is out. So either 2 goals were scored or 1 goal was scored in match 7. Absolutely simply we can determine these things. But if you look at the other 3 questions, you will find, okay, both the statements are probably true, is or false, is false, are true kind of sets. However, the moment we have reached here, we now have clarity that the answers, we now have clarity that the answer to the first question is either 1 or 2. Right? उसको अपन consider करके चल सकते हैं as a case breaking thing. Then I will read the data. So here it says, so by this time that I have read the first 2 questions, my thought process is, I have read all 5 questions. My thought process is, पहले 2 तो determinable है definitely, that I can find with whatever minimum work I can do. The number of data points given is only 6. The data table that I have to create is going to have only 8 cross 4, 32 grid points at best. ठीक है? And जिसमें कई सारे numbers 0 होंगे, because all 32 grid points taken together add up to only 12. So I know that there are going to be zeros, there are going to be ones, which is visible in the options also. So right now I'm thinking I'm not dealing with large numbers. Is the calculation going to be complex? Large numbers? Am I dealing with decimals somewhere? No. That decision is very clear. So I'm thinking now I've spent 2 minutes on it. I have eliminated 2 options from one question. Let me see, read the data and try to understand whether I will be able to solve it further or not. At the end of 6th minute, if I'm able to get the answers to the first 2 questions, take 6 marks, leave it, it is still a good bet. I'm not suggesting that you leave it, but I'm saying कि अगर ये ऐसा आता तो that would be my thought process at the end of the first 2 minutes or 2.5 when I have read the questions. Now, only 1 goal was scored in every even numbered match. So even numbered matches में match 2, match 4, match 6 and match 8, 1 goal was only scored. Total number of goals to be scored is 12. That means match 3, 1, 3, 5 and 7, which are odd numbers, total number of goals scored in them must be 8. Total 12 hona chahiye. Only 1 goal in all even numbered matches. Total must be 8 for 1, 3, 5, 7. Option 1 is out. Option 2 is out. Then I am left with only 2 options. Right? Harita scored more goals than Bimla. So H is greater than B. I know that. Highest goal scorer scored in exactly 3 matches, including match 4 and match 8. Okay. That highest goal scorer could be Harita at this point. I don't know. Bimla scored a goal in match 1 and 1 each in 3 other consecutive matches. By this point, I am able to understand that Bimla has scored goals in 4 matches. So Bimla's score is greater than or equal to 4. So again, it comes to the same logic that GB was applying in the last question. 12 total hai boss. Agar 12 total hai, one of the numbers is 4 and there is one number greater than 4. One of the numbers is greater than or equal to 4. One number greater than or equal to 4, that means this number must be greater than or equal to 5. The other two people, A and S, given that all 4 of them are distinct, have to be 2 and 1, and these numbers must be 5 and 4. These numbers must be 5 and 4. So that is basically half the question solved. The moment you have figured it out, who is going to be the highest scorer, who is going to be the second highest scorer, you have already figured it out, and you know the number of matches in which the highest scorer has scored. So highest scorer scored in match 4, match 8, and one more match. इतना अपने को पता है. So highest scorer is going to be Harita. She scored in match 4. Match 4 only one goal is going to be scored. Other people will score 0 goals. Right? Draw the table neatly in the paper जो आपको मिलता है. Other people will score 0 goals in that match. And match 8, she has scored 1 goal. Other people will score 0 goals in that match, because total in match 4 is 1. Total in match 8 is 1, which is already known. And Bimla scored a goal in match 1 and 3 other consecutive matches. Now, what are 3 other consecutive matches where Bimla can score? Bimla can score only in match 5, 6, 7. This number is 1, this number is 1. You already know. Right? So, based on इतना ही डेटा वी आर एबल टू गेट इसका आंसर आ जाएगा और इसका आंसर आ जाएगा इन द नेक्स्ट कपल ऑफ मिनट्स. Once you have visualized how the data table is going to look like, and you have understood that the numbers are going to be not very complex, using that you can get into solving that set. And in the first 5-7 minutes, in 5 to 6 minutes in that, inside that set, getting into that set itself, you will understand that this set is not difficult at all. But had you taken a call only on the basis of familiarity, not read the questions, not taken help from the options, not read the data points, then you would have then that person would have done an absolute disservice to an easy set like this, right? So basis this, I urge all of you, again reiterating, it's a 5-step process to select or reject a set. Go through all of those 5 steps in the first 2 minutes that you're solving that set, and then take a call whether it is worth your time or not worth your time. And as I can see, most of you have commented that you have solved it. आपको इसका solution आता है, but then there is help, additional help that you could have also taken from the questions in this particular case.
Correct. And I think that was the common thread, I think, in both the sets that we've picked up. Even in the first set, quite a few students stated they solved it, but they took about 20-25 minutes. Here also, many stating solved it, took about 15 to 20 minutes. Maybe you could have solved this in 5, 7, 8 minutes lesser if the observation was there, which is something that, you know, somebody pointed out कि पूरा observation का ही game है. और एकदम सही बात है कि ये पूरा observation का ही game है. Picking up 1 or 2 questions from here. Sir, what would you advise going through previous sets in mocks or solving more sectional? So, Wednesday है, Sunday को exam है, Friday, Saturday generally हम बोलते कुछ नहीं करना, आज अभी time है नहीं कुछ करने का, बचा Thursday. My reco would be, कल है, कल at max एक mock ले लेना, और अगर वो नहीं लेना तो सेक्शनल एक लेना है तो एक ले सकते हो. बट मोर इम्पोर्टेंटली आई थिंक द फोकस नाउ शुड बी, जो मैं कर चुका हूँ, मैंने जो बुकमार्क किया हुआ है, इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस, इंपॉर्टेंट चीजें, उसको जस्ट गो थ्रू rather than doing too much. I think the time to do is more or less done now. It is more about a time to recall, go through certain things, refresh, and relax as much as possible. I see a lot of you all stating कि अब रिविजन की क्या स्ट्रैटेजी होनी चाहिए. रिविजन की स्ट्रैटेजी जो भी होगी वो एक दिन के रिविजन की स्ट्रैटेजी होगी, only one day. Because Friday and Saturday revision strategy is Netflix, Hotstar, Amazon Prime. Not watching India versus South Africa के टेस्ट मैच की highlights. You know, those are the strategies. There is no other strategy for a Friday and Saturday. So please don't do, too much. Okay. अब रवि से तेरे पास है, you want to get through CAGR and SAGR एक बार, just quickly एक बार 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes में just give a brief overview rather than a set or something. Relax बोले तो क्या करूँ भी बता दिया ना. Netflix बोला, Hotstar बोला, Amazon Prime बोला, इसके आगे समझदार को इशारा काफी, इधर छोड़ देता हूँ.
The screen is visible, right?
Yeah, visible.
Yeah. So CAGR and SAGR, essentially AGR stands for annual growth rate, C stands for compound, and S stands for simple. So it works on the same model as your simple interest and compound interest. So for example, if you invest 100 rupees over compound in a compound interest scheme, or 1000 rupees in a compound interest scheme, okay, at a 10% per annum, and this is compound interest, after 3 years, how much will it become? So you know how to go about it. You know that you will be going to take principal, then you will say 1 plus r by 100 is going to be 11 by 10, and number of terms is 3. So you'll cube it, it will become 1331. So how much has your principal grown? Your principal has grown 33.1%. This is your total growth. This is your total growth in this case. But if I ask you back calculate करके इसमें what was the annual growth if you have to calculate compound interest के हिसाब से, what would your answer be? Is your answer visible on the screen? Obviously it is. So basically compound annual growth rate is basically calculated on the basis of compounding, जिसमें interest पे interest जुड़ता जाता है. But where is CAGR or SAGR typically used? It is used in questions of DI जब किसी कंपनी का ग्रोथ रेट वगैरह निकालते हैं. इस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में नहीं आता कि किसी ने इतना लोन लिया तो इतना ग्रो हो जाएगा, or someone has taken this much of money or at this kind of interest, right? So in that sense, I'll give you a simple example. If in 2022 a company did 100 crore of revenue, 2023 the same company did whatever, I don't know. 2024 the company did 150 crore of revenue. Okay? Now all this revenue is calculated on 31st December of each year, मान लो. In this case, what will be the CAGR and SAGR? So what would your answer be to this? What is the CAGR and what is SAGR? Those of you who know the concept of it, can you just go ahead and tell me what is at least SAGR? What is simple annual growth rate? In this case, simple annual growth rate is essentially total growth percentage divided by number of years. Now, where do people make mistake in calculation of simple annual growth rate? They take it to be a period of 3 years, which is wrong. It is actually 2 years past. 31st December of 2022 say 31st December of 2024 is only 2 years that is passing. So 2 years mein the total growth is 50. If the total growth is 50 and the number of years that have passed is 2, then your SAGR is 25. Right? So this is going to be my value of SAGR. But what is going to be my CAGR? What is going to be my CAGR? The simplest way to calculate CAGR in these kind of questions is option उठा लो और solve करो. ठीक है? Basically, if you know basic multiplying factors, you will know that 100 से 150 अगर मेरे को जाना है तो what option उठा लो और solve कर लो. So 100 से 150 if I have to go, how will I go? I can go from 100 to if I have gone from 100 to 150, what is the multiplying factor? 100 into something got squared gave me 150. So this something got squared is going to be equal to 1.5. So if x is my multiplying factor, x square is 1.5. Put that in your calculator and solve for it. Right? Worst case scenario, put that in your calculator and solve for it. SAGR will be higher than CAGR. ये लिख के ले लो. So CAGR जब आप calculate करोगे, it will be lesser than your SAGR in general, right? So CAGR will come close to what in this question will come close to what 21, 22%, if I'm not wrong. क्या आसपास आएगा. Something square is going to be close to 1.5, 1.2 square और 1.3 square के बीच में आएगा. Closer.
A simpler way just to do quick calculation is 20 assume कर लो. So 100 से 120 गया, 20 से 144 जाएगा. तो पता है 144 से ज्यादा होना है. So that means 20 से ज्यादा है. That's an easier way of doing it. And एक और example लेना है तो 25 ले लो. 100 से 125 गया. अब 125 पे वापस 25%. 25% is 1/4. 125 का 1/4 is what? 31 point something. 156 चले जाएगा. So the answer is between 20 and 25 for sure. That's a quick calculation कि options को eliminate कैसे करना है. समझो you don't want to substitute, but you want to eliminate options. You could have eliminated like this also.
Right. So imagine a question in which you know the principal and you know the final amount, and the question is asking you to calculate compound rate of interest. That is CAGR. You know the principal, you know the interest you have received. Question is asking you to calculate simple rate of interest in that period. That is SAGR. That is as simple as that. Okay?
यार गाइस, वन थिंग इज CAGR SAGR सुनने में लगता है कोई अलग कॉन्सेप्ट है. कॉन्सेप्ट सिंपल इंटरेस्ट कंपाउंड इंटरेस्ट है. एज सिंपल एज दैट. इफ यू आर कंफर्टेबल विद सिंपल इंटरेस्ट कंपाउंड इंटरेस्ट, नो रीजन दैट यू विल फील कि यहाँ पे मेरे को कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो रही है. ओके, सो लुक एट इट फ्रॉम दैट पर्सपेक्टिव. ओके, would my performance be impacted if I don't chill on Friday and Saturday? I have Sem 5 exams going on too, so would it be okay if I... Yeah, please do study yaar. For your Sem 5 exam. When I say chill, I mean cat oriented कुछ मत करो. Mind को थोड़ा relax होने दो. Sem 5 exam obviously बहुत important है यार. I would say it's equally important as cat. Reason being, cat में तो आ भी जाएगा. Eventually जब convert वो होगा तब तक Sem 5 के result आ गए होंगे. So conversion के time when you go in for your interview, they will take into consideration all 5 semesters का score by then. अभी के लिए तो you filled the form with the first 4 semesters का result. 5th semester का result is going to be important. समझो वो नहीं भी आएगा, placements के time it will be important. So at any point in time your undergraduation scores are going to be very, very important. So please don't mess around with that. And we don't want you to be in a situation where you are just completely totally dependent on CAT. Hypothetically CAT नहीं हुआ, next year लिखना पड़ा, या और कुछ हो गया, या और किसी चीज आ गई, your UG scores are going to be very, very important at that time. So please ensure that that does not suffer. ठीक है? Why is everyone interested in CAGR and SAGR? एक बंदा जब पूछता है ना तो पूरी लाइन उस पे ही लगती है. When you go for the CAT exam, please notice, ठीक है? तुम जब जाओगे तुम देखोगे कि भैया लाइंस है of admit card verification. समझो एक लाइन में कोई नहीं खड़ा और दूसरे लाइन में एक बंदा खड़ा है. अब क्योंकि एक लाइन में कोई नहीं खड़ा, डाउट होने लगेगा कि उस लाइन में कोई है भी कि नहीं, वो लाइन खुली भी है कि नहीं. Next 4 people will go and stand in the same line जहाँ पे एक बंदा खड़ा है. That is just human tendency.
जब तक वो बोलेंगे नहीं कि अबे भाई इधर भी आ जाओ. अच्छा,
so it is human tendency.
Just to pick your question, simple average growth rate, is it also simple annual growth rate? In the context of solving questions in DILR, typically it is, मतलब yearly देता है. But अगर quarter on quarter दे दिया तो साल भर का मत लेते बैठना फिर. ठीक है? So it is average growth rate only, but I
basically
said
it's for a period
because most cases annual over year on year growth ही दिया रहता है क्वेश्चन में, right? Hence
correct. Look at the definition of the period. सर आपका स्लॉट कौन सा है रवि सर?
Mine is 3. 3. Yeah. Yours is
Ravi
1.
is 3. Mine is 1. Yeah. Okay. I had seen couple of people saying sir Golmaal 3 देखनी पड़ेगी. हाँ देख लो. I have heard in case you want to go to the hall and watch a movie, I've heard De Pyar De 2 is a slapstick comedy as well. So if you want slapstick comedies, better than Masti 4, go ahead and have a look at that. Anything that will help you relax, I think you can go ahead and do. Okay,
Masti
coming
4
back
भी
to... हाँ मस्ती 4 आया यार, मेरे को पता चला अभी कल या परसों पता चला, किसी ने मेरे को बोला. वेरी गुड. मेरे को ये नहीं पता था मस्ती
नहीं देखा है तो फैमिली मैन भी देख सकते हैं वैसे.
अब वो डिपेंड करता है. आई होप यू आर नॉट गोइंग टू बी वन ऑफ दोस जो 2 एपिसोड देखने के बाद अब गेस करने लगे अच्छा कौन है. अच्छा कैसे होगा, प्लीज डोंट स्टार्ट डूइंग LRDI with respect to finding out कैसे होगा क्या होगा and all. The whole objective is you relax a little, brain doesn't need you know go into overdrive, that's the only thing. सर स्लॉट टू कोई है क्या? हाँ स्लॉट टू भी बहुत लोग हैं, ऐसा क्या है कि कोई है क्या, ऑब्वियसली है। एग्जाम में रखो प्लीज याद आएगी नहीं देखना, ओके ठीक है। all of these things we can talk on Friday. We've got a specific session on Friday to talk about everything other than cat. Let's get back, I think, to a few things. So can you please explain GDP per capita sets to? सेट्स पर से तो कुछ नहीं, बट जीडीपी पर कैपिटा का कॉन्सेप्ट एटलीस्ट आई होप यू नो, इट इज टोटल जीडीपी डिवाइडेड बाय टोटल पॉपुलेशन, एंड इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग लास्ट ईयर कैट में आया भी था उसके ऊपर, एंड बहुत सिंपल सी चीज थी कि आई थिंक पॉपुलेशन वाज गिवन एंड जीडीपी वाज गिवन, एंड देन या जीडीपी पर कैपिटा वाज गिवन एंड जीडीपी वाज गिवन एंड पॉपुलेशन निकालना था, ऐसा कुछ. So and even this definition you don't need to know, because in CAT it will be mentioned. They are not assuming that you have GK of what GDP per capita means. General knowledge is not tested in CAT ever. So I hope you know what GDP per capita is. It is GDP by total population, but उसका सेट उसके टाइप ऑफ सेट सॉल्व करना डिपेंड्स अपॉन द सेट ना. लास्ट ईयर का सेट था वो तो बस बेसिक डिवीजन करके पॉपुलेशन या जीडीपी निकालना था. अब जीडीपी पर कैपिटा में हम और कुछ भी दे देंगे. The context is not GDP per capita, it is the concept that I want to check. GDP per capita is not the concept. Okay, so please keep that in mind. GDP per capita का definition अगर पता है that's okay. Okay.
And ऐसे जो भी questions आते हैं normally in those kind of sets there will be one or two questions which can be solved purely on the basis of comparison and not necessarily calculation. Question पूछेगा which country has the highest GDP per capita. You have to just compare the ratios. Don't go for the entire calculation. It saves a lot of time in those kind.
Correct. And that set of last years में वही था, ज्यादा calculation कुछ करना नहीं था, और calculation जहाँ करना भी था, you just do it for those 4 options which are there. Don't do it for all 8, all 10 which are mentioned. So Anuj, you are saying it was very calculative. My personal take, I don't think it was as calculative as it appeared. For example, last question में तो पता ही था सब 0 आना है, ऐसा कुछ था, दिख ही रहा था देख के कि बाकी सारे नेगेटिव है, इसका आंसर या कुछ था कि बाकी सारे नेगेटिव है, इसका आंसर उससे ज्यादा होने और समथिंग लाइक दैट दिख रहा था, 0 आएगा बहुत क्लियरली. सो जस्ट ऑब्जर्वेशन स्किल्स आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, एंश्योर यू डू दैट. सार्थक का एक क्वेश्चन है रवि. I'm very inconsistent in DILR and it is the only section I'm uncertain of. What can I do to maximize my result? Any records?
Again, in the exam, when you're looking at it, don't go for analysis of the section. That's the best you can do. Don't analyze the section कि paper easy है कि paper tough है. Paper मेरे सामने है, question मेरे सामने है. Just give your best. Anyway, you can't give better than your best. Right? ऐसा नहीं होगा ना कि आप बेहतर कर सकते थे आपने नहीं किया, ऐसा नहीं होता है. ठीक है, just believe that whatever you are doing is the best that could have been done by you in that exam, and just go for it. Go for the kill. Don't think of मेरा स्कोर पिछले 2 मॉक में 40 आ गया तो अब गिरेगा. अरे चल, ऐसा नहीं रहता है. Right?
वो एक ही जगह पे होता है गाइस, वेयर यू फील और यू शुड फील कि मैं बेटर कर सकता था, मैंने नहीं किया, इज व्हेन यू गिव अप. In the exam hall, you're not supposed to sit there and give up. And give up के भी multiple definitions होते हैं. Leaving a set and moving to the next is not give up. That is a decision. DILR मेरा अच्छा नहीं गया तो क्या ही पॉइंट है क्वांट पे फोकस करने का? That is give up. So be very clear about what it is. ये नहीं कि भैया हम give up मार देंगे, वो मत होने देना. Don't let yourself freeze. Don't give up at any point in time. Even if it's 22 minutes into the DILR section and कुछ नहीं हुआ, it is okay. अभी भी 18 मिनट है. उस 18 मिनट में अगर 4-5 क्वेश्चन निकल गए, क्या पता इस ईयर के लिए that is enough for the sectional cutoff. And my mindset in those 18 minutes would be, मैं इतना तो कर लूं कि सेक्शनल निकल जाए, क्वांट में फोड़ूंगा. ये नहीं क्वांट में गिव अप हो जाएगा बिकॉज डीएलआर अच्छा नहीं गया, उल्टा क्वांट में फोड़ूंगा. क्या पता डीएलआर में उतना हो गया कि सेक्शनल हो गया एंड क्वांट में मैंने फोड़ दिया तो ओवरऑल मेरा मस्त हो गया. We've had multiple cases where the reverse has happened, where a student went in, DILR किया, अच्छा नहीं गया, क्वांट गया, messed up, DILR का परसेंटाइल आया 93, because DILR ended up being very difficult. क्वांट का परसेंटाइल आया 79, सेक्शनल नहीं क्लियर हुआ. वर्बल में बैठे हैं 99.5 पे, ओवरऑल 98 परसेंटाइल. Doesn't help.
In fact, I think a good student should pray for a tough DILR section. A good student should pray for a tough DILR section, क्योंकि कम एफर्ट में ज्यादा नंबर आ जाएंगे, ज्यादा परसेंटाइल आ जाएगा उसमें, right? A tough paper would mean about 60% of the population will not be even able to solve one complete set. Then you are at benefit even if you can solve.
मैं उस पे भी नहीं जाता रवि. लास्ट ईयर वाज कंपैरेटिवली एन इजी पेपर. एवरीबडी स्टेट्स दैट इंक्लूडिंग द स्टूडेंट्स. लास्ट ईयर 50 percentile in DILR what had a score of 3. In that easy paper 50% of the people could not solve one question. अब ये थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट अगर होता तो 50 परसेंटाइल कहां होता? 3 पे प्रॉब्ली 60-65 हो गया होता. सो मेरा माइंडसेट हमेशा ये रहेगा, मेरे लिए डिफिकल्ट है तो शायद सबके लिए डिफिकल्ट है, और अगर सबके लिए डिफिकल्ट है तो मे बी दोस 4-5 क्वेश्चन इटसेल्फ माइट बी इनफ टू नॉट ओनली क्लियर सेक्शनल, टू प्रॉब्ली डू वेल, गेट अ 90+. So what can I do in the upcoming section 2? So you know that mentality always needs to be that मैंने जितना किया enough है, और आगे जो आएगा उसको मैं बेटर करूंगा, उसको मैं फोड़ूंगा. Please keep that okay there. So calculator option has been removed from CAT official mock. I thought I didn't see that. कैलकुलेटर होगा यार. एक बार पहले भी वो लोग ने एक रैंडम कैलकुलेटर दिया था एक ऑफिशियल मॉक में. साइंटिफिक कैलकुलेटर एक बार कैट के ऑफिशियल मॉक में आया हुआ है, और एक्चुअल कैट में साइंटिफिक कैलकुलेटर नहीं आया था.
इन लोगों ने स्क्रैच पैड भी दे दिया जीबी.
स्क्रैच पैड भी एक बार पहले आया हुआ है.
लास्ट ईयर आया.
आई हैव सीन दिस वंस बिफोर.
या
तो प्लीज डोंट गेट टू ओवरवेल्म्ड बाय ऑल ऑफ दैट. ठीक है. CAT mailed with new calculator link recently. Did they? Can you put it here? I might have missed it. Can you put that link here, guys? खोल के हम स्क्रीन शेयर कर लेंगे, देखते हैं क्या है. ओके सर, फॉर द GDP सेट. ओके, कोई GDP वाला पूछ रहा है. द प्रॉब्लम वाज हाउ टू यूज GDP per capita and solve the question. There could be certain sets where we have such, like we had sex ratio set. How to identify the concept to be? You want to pick this up, Ravi? I think I had already stated it, but in case you want to pick it up.
There could be certain sets which we have calculated like sex ratio set. How to identify the concept? See, any question like that, in fact, anything that CAT wants you to ask, right? They can't ask something that is not universally known. What is universally known is that moon exists. What is not universally known is that Neil Armstrong was the first person to land on the moon. Okay? They will expect you to have the knowledge that moon exists. सेक्स रेशियो कैसे कैलकुलेट करना है वो बता देगा. ठीक है. उसके विदाउट टेलिंग दैट दे वोंट आस्क यू what it is. I mean, they will clearly, in question of sex ratio, they will clearly mention number of males per 1,000 females or number of females per 1,000 males, whatever it is. Their definition उसके set के यूनिवर्स में क्या है, they will definitely tell you. Don't worry about it. ठीक है. Concept used in such a set is always ratios and comparison. 95% of the time it will be ratio and comparison. GB, it is our normal calculator only.
नॉर्मली है ना?
हाँ, वो ब्लू रेड ग्रीन वाला.
हाँ, तब तो नॉर्मल है. तो कहाँ देख, मेरे को तो कोई लिंक भी नहीं आया. कोई लिंक आया है क्या?
आया.
कब आया है मेल?
I am just putting it in our private chat here. See?
हाँ, okay. When did the mail come?
This mail came yesterday night, I think.
Acha, I missed it. हाँ, so this is the calculator that we have, right? This is exactly
Yes.
the same calculator.
Yeah.
So एकदम normal calculator है guys. So please stop worrying about it. मेल आया है कल. अच्छा, मेरे से मिस हो गया होगा, मैंने चेक नहीं किया. Okay, cool.
So
ठीक
he
है.
is saying that the interface of this calculator will be quicker. थोड़ा सा more efficient रहेगा ये.
ठीक है, अच्छी बात है. इंटरफेस बेटर होगा, सही है तो सेम चीज देखने में. बैकएंड माइट हैव इम्प्रूव्ड, सो दैट्स गुड. हाउ टू टैकल ब्रेन फ्रीज इन केस अ 2023 सिनेरियो रिपीट्स. ये किसका आया है?
आर्यन.
या how to tackle brain freeze in 20. No, I don't know what the 2023 scenario is. I'm guessing maybe you wrote it and you found it difficult and brain freeze हो गया और कुछ attempt नहीं कर पाया. मेरा फंडा इस पे वही है, डिपेंड करता है हाउ यू अप्रोच द पेपर. से यू आर अप्रोचिंग इट इन रवीज वे. फर्स्ट सेट उठाया नहीं हुआ, ठीक है. सेकंड उठाया, टाइम लगाया, नहीं हुआ, ठीक है. थर्ड लगाया, टाइम नहीं हुआ, ठीक है. अब प्रॉब्लम क्या होती है ना, गेम तुम यहां हार गए हो कि सेकंड उठाया नहीं हुआ, थर्ड उठाया नहीं, यहां गेम हार गए. दिस वुड हैव हैपेंड इन 23-24 minutes. Your reaction to these 23-24 minutes is why you could not do anything in the next 16 minutes. There are two ways to react in this sort of a situation. मेरे से फर्स्ट तीनों नहीं हुए, मतलब ये तीन तो बहुत डिफिकल्ट होंगे. अपकमिंग तो होंगे ही दो, क्योंकि मैंने इनफ प्रेपरेशन की है और प्रीवियस ईयर के पेपर्स भी देख चुका हूं. हमेशा मेरे से एक दो सेट तो निकल जाते. दैट कुड बी वन वे ऑफ अप्रोचिंग. सेकेंड वे ऑफ अप्रोचिंग कुड बी, यार 22 मिनट हो गए, 3 सेट नहीं हुए, कुछ नहीं होगा, अब कैसे होगा, अब क्या होगा, मेरा 1 साल लगा दिया था, पापा को बोला था नौकरी नहीं कर रहे हो, घर पे रहने दो, अब तो पापा भी घर से निकाल देंगे, अब नौकरी करनी पड़ेगी, नौकरी में तो बॉस मेरे को गाली देता है. And this is going on. Whether your mind is doing 1 or doing 2 is going to decide whether brain freeze हुआ है कि नहीं हुआ. Till 24 minutes not being able to solve anything is not necessarily a brain freeze. It could just be कि difficult है, actually में नहीं हुआ, उसको brain freeze क्यों बना दिया. Brain freeze is your reaction to that. So like we stated earlier, the reaction irrespective of the situation you are in has to be positive. कि नहीं हुआ तो इसलिए नहीं हुआ क्योंकि डिफिकल्ट है, अपकमिंग हो जाएगा क्योंकि मैंने प्रेप किया हुआ है, आई हैव ऑलरेडी पुट इन द हार्ड यार्ड्स, एंड बिकॉज प्रीवियस इयर्स का पेपर्स व्हेन आई हैव सीन व्हेन आई वाज प्रेपिंग, आई वाज ऑलवेज एबल टू सॉल्व 1 or 2. व्हाई विल आई नॉट बी एबल टू डू राइट नाउ? So that needs to be the mindset. That's the only way in which I would recommend that you can tackle, because we've all faced it. I have faced it in 2016 if I am not wrong. 1 hour का पेपर होता था. I think roughly 32-33 minutes into it, I had attempted 0. Because all the first 3 sets in my priority order जो मैंने 3 उठाए वो गलत थे. मैं भी इंसान हूं, कर ही सकता हूं. Next 3 जो थे जल्दी हो गए. I ended up scoring well. Ravi has had it.
23 very recently I had the same experience
2 years back.
But it's absolutely fine. Matlab, I go in the mindset why I go from question 1 to question 22. मैं बताता हूँ. The actual reason behind it is I think I am in that category of people जिससे maximum एक सेट नहीं बनेगा पेपर में. ऐसा मैं सोचता हूँ कि after the paper there might be one set which is going to be very challenging. बाकी तो बन जाने चाहिए यार. After the paper तो मेरे से बन जाने चाहिए. मतलब उसका कॉन्सेप्ट तो मेरे को आता रहता है. So I typically hunt for that set जो मेरे से नहीं बनेगा. और अगर शुरू के 2 ही अगर आपको ऐसे लग रहा है कि नहीं बनेगा, तो then you have found those 2. Then whatever remaining 30 minutes is there with you, you have clarity कि आगे के 3 तो बन ही जाएंगे. You have to take that positive from it. Every paper, if you are a well prepared student, there will be 1 maximum 2 sets which will be very difficult in the paper. The quicker you find it, the better it is for you. Because then you know that the remaining ones are easy and you can actually solve it in 10-12 minutes.
I like what Shreyansh put here. Shreyansh put here. वही 2023 का पेपर, 2 different approaches. Somebody after couldn't solve first 2 or 3 sets frozen. Second, first set ही जाके 25 मिनट में हुआ, तो 25 मिनट में जाके एक हुआ है. उसके बाद भी 2 ही क्वेश्चन और हुए नेक्स्ट 15 में. 98.5 is the percentile. And that is what we mean when we state this. This is very normal. It could happen to you this year as well. फर्स्ट 22-23-24 मिनट में कुछ नहीं हुआ, या उल्टा फर्स्ट 15 मिनट में एक सेट हो गया, नेक्स्ट 20 मिनट में कुछ नहीं हुआ. Even that can happen. The whole point is whatever little more additional that I can do, it is going to give me that additional percentile. It is going to be a game changer. Because the paper is difficult. दिमाग में बस ये लगे मेरे से नहीं हो रहा, किसी से नहीं हो रहा. We've stated that enough number of times. Don't want to go ahead. I'll pick this one, Ravi. Maybe you can also chime in. Able to solve 2 sets always, but they are mostly 4 question ones. मतलब 8 questions कर लेता हूँ with 10 minutes to go. Able to solve sometime 1 or half a set. How to improve it to 3 in the last run. So if I were to pick it up before I go to Ravi, my way of approaching this is very different. मेरे को set से कोई मतलब नहीं है, मेरे को number of questions से मतलब है. मेरे को क्वेश्चंस कितने मैं कर सकता हूँ. अब से मेरे को 12 क्वेश्चन करने हैं, वन वे ऑफ डूइंग इट इज कुड बी मैं 3 सेट कर दूंगा 4 क्वेश्चन के. अनदर वे ऑफ डूइंग इट कुड बी मैं हर सेट से 2 क्वेश्चन निकालूंगा और 2 पर्टिकुलर सेट से 3 क्वेश्चन करूंगा. सो इट डिपेंड्स मैं उस वे से कैसे कर रहा हूं. नाउ लुकिंग एट हाउ यू आर अप्रोचिंग इट, if you are able to generally do about 8 questions odd in 30 minutes and you got 10 minutes to go, there are 2 ways of doing it. Number one, that you could have left certain sets that seemed like multiple if then conditions, if this, if that, if this, if that. You could at this point in time go to that set and start looking at solving it as singlet quant questions. Ravi also generally states this. I state the same as well. This might be a good time to start solving 2 or 3 singlet quant. एक quant question solve करने में मेरे को 3 मिनट लगते हैं, मैं यहाँ पे 3 singlet quant कर लूंगा या 2 singlet quant भी कर लूंगा, तो 2 additional हो गए, 3 additional हो गए. Suddenly my attempts have gone to 10 questions or 11 questions. If you try solving another set, कई बार होता क्या है ना, सेट को डिकोड करने में टाइम लगता है, टेबल रिप्रेजेंटेशन में टाइम लगता है, 8-9 मिनट लगते हैं, उसी के बाद आंसर करने में 1 मिनट लगता है. बट अगर 8-9 मिनट लग गए, आप 38 39 पे आ गए, अब पैनिक सिचुएशन में यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू अटेम्प्ट एनीथिंग जनरली, because after the 30th minute you are in a panic state. Even though you are about to reach there, either you will make a silly error or you will feel यार खाली 90 सेकंड है, जल्दी जल्दी करना, जल्दी, वो जल्दी जल्दी करना है के चक्कर में मिस हो जाएगा. So I generally recommend, if you are in a situation of anywhere between about 7 to 10 minutes to go, it might generally be a good time period to move to a set wherein ऐसे singlet type of questions आते हैं and you go ahead and attempt that. For certain others whose speed is good and you feel नहीं, generally मैं 3 सेट कर चुका हूँ 30 मिनट्स में और मेरे को एक और निकालना है, then for that kind of a person looking at another set might make sense, because the average time spent per set generally for such an individual is about 8 to 10 minutes. So it will boil down to the individual and it will boil down to how you approach. But set मत देखो, questions देखो. 1.5 set important नहीं है, 10 12 13 question निकल रहे कि नहीं, that according to me is important. क्या रवि?
So if you look at the last 5-6 years of papers, since 2020, since 4 or 5 sets have been appearing in the exam, you'll typically find that there's one set at best, 1 or 2 sets at best, जिसमें all 4 या all 5 answers definite होते हैं. Other questions will be a good mix of 2 definite 2F or a 2 definite 3F or all 5F, right? So if I am able to solve all full definite, that first set I have solved. So second set I would choose probably is not necessarily all full definite, because again, as GB said, it is not about solving complete sets. It's about if I can solve all 4 definite wala in 15 minutes of time or 20 minutes of time, instead of that, if I can solve 6 minutes mein 2 question of 2 different sets, that is giving me more time to think about the other sets there are, right? And the output that I get at the end of it is both 12 marks in both cases, right? So that second set that you choose could be that 2+3 or a 3+2 kind of a set. And as he mentioned very clearly, last 7-8 minutes, you want to maximize your score, you want to start a new set, look for that all 5 if, all 4 if, singlet kind of a set, maximization, minimization kind of a set. बन जाएगा. 2 क्वेश्चन तो बनने वाले होते हैं उसमें.
Just one thing if I might add here, रवि, कई बार ना आपको वैसा सेट भी देखने की जरूरत नहीं है. कई बार आपने क्या किया होगा, आपने कोई एक सेट किया होगा जहां 1-2 इजी क्वेश्चंस कर दिए और बाकी 2-3 छोड़ दिए. This might actually even be a good time to go back to that set because you are already comfortable with it. Structure भी already पता है. अब बस थोड़े changes होने हैं. यहाँ additional data होगा, यहाँ उसने कुछ और condition दे दिया होगा something. You might be able to approach that a little quicker as compared to starting off with something new. So keep both those options open. And this struck me from the question that Esha actually just put in. Is it wise to complete a whole set or is it useful to shift sets after attempting 2 to 3 easy questions from a moderate level set? Esha, generally this will also depend on बाकी के set कैसे है ना. अगर upcoming जो है वो already मेरी priority order में lower down थे और मेरे को लग रहा था कि मेरे लिए इशू है, मैं आराम से शायद ना कर पाऊं, then I might not want to quit this and move there. On the flip side, मैं प्रायोरिटी ऑर्डर जब बना रहा था, मेरे को सभी डुएबल लग रहे थे, This is the second set. I know the third and fourth that I picked up were doable sets. I might want to leave this and move to the third and fourth right now. So it depends on where you are in the current scheme of things and how the remaining part of the paper looks like. I think the answer would be dependent on that. Yeah, Ravi.
So just to emphasize on that point, if you look at this set, this is a CAT 2018 set, for example, right? There are 3 sports: Gilli Danda, Kho and Ludo. And from the setup itself, you understand it is a 3-set Venn diagram that you're looking at. Now, familiarity wise, 3-set Venn diagram, are we not familiar? We are familiar with it. It's a 3-set Venn diagram with a cute little setup, says 39 students, 6 data points, ticket 6 data points, not looking very complex. You would typically pick this set. Anyone who has done a good amount of practice in Venn diagrams and set theory would typically pick this set ki haan ye main kar lunga, zyada data nahi diya hai. But the moment you read the questions, you will understand what is the minimum number of students. अच्छा, मैक्सिमाइजेशन मिनिमाइजेशन पूछ रहा है, ठीक है, G and L but not in K, ठीक है, कुछ तो कर सकते हैं. Question 2 is asking a definite answer. And question 2, if you read it, the moment you have read it, you know if the number of students enrolled in K and L are in the ratio 19:22, what is the number of students enrolled in L? K and L is 19:22. L is a multiple of 22. There is only 1 in the options. 2 minutes आपने spend किया होगा, you got 3 marks. Trade-off. What is the trade-off? Uske baad, there is the first question that you have already read. It is asking you about some maximization, minimization. And if you actually read the third question and fourth question, दुनिया बदल जाती है, जज्बात बदल जाते हैं इसमें. Due to academic pressure, students who were enrolled in all 3 sports were asked to withdraw from one of the 3 sports. फिर कुछ हुआ. Then how many students were enrolled in both G and K? Now this is something that is alarming for me, because to take care of these 7 data points, these 6-7 data points, and to draw a Venn diagram and finally figure out a maxima minima answer in this itself is going to take me some 7 to 10 minutes of effort. At the end of 7 to 10 minutes, I will get answer to this question. Yes, I will get answer to this question, right? 2 minutes mein ye nikal gaya tha. 2 minutes, I'll get 3 marks from this set. Another 5 minutes, I'll get another 3 marks. But to get answer to the another 6 marks, I will require to put another 6 to 8 minutes of effort, because I will have to rework on the entire Venn diagram, because the entire game is changing, right? So if you ask me, is it wise to leave the set in between in such kind of sets? Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. Okay. It's wise to leave after such kind of sets, because पहले ही तुमको वेरिएबल आएंगे. इट वाज मेंशन्ड इन द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन, मिनिमम पूछा है, एंड उसके बाद क्वेश्चन 3, क्वेश्चन 4 में यू आर सपोज्ड टू चेंज द एंटायर सेटअप.
I will just add one thing. This might not generally be a moderate level set. It might be slightly higher than that.
Yeah.
Just as a joke, because the question was moderate level. वो आ रहा था chat पे, तो hence I put it.
Right. So I think even if you look at this one, okay, someone was asking about this Dr. Ken, Dr. Wayne wala set. It came in the comments. ये set करना चाहिए कि नहीं करना चाहिए?
Yeah.
Okay, you read the setup. When you read the setup, it is known that there are 3 doctors, Ben, Ken, and Wayne. Monday to Saturday, they visit the patients. Ben sees a patient for 10 minutes. Ben sees 10 minutes and charges 100 rupees. Then Ken sees for 15 minutes and charges 200 rupees. And Wayne sees 25 minutes and charges 300 rupees. Right. Yeah, 300 rupees is involved and this timing is involved. That means I am, at least at this point, I should be able to understand, figure out कि boss पैसों के related कुछ ना कुछ पूछेगा, right? And timings or scheduling related कुछ ना कुछ पूछेगा. Those are the 2 types of questions that I can expect in this kind of a set based on the setup itself, right? So now I am looking at this, and then it is known that a clinic has 1, 2, and 3, which were assigned to the 3 doctors as per the following table. Okay, I will look at it. Jo bhi hai. then there is another additional data that is given, which is only exemplifying whatever has to be considered. What has to be considered is whoever is the first doctor available in the first room available, the patient will go to that room only. Whoever is the first doctor available in the first room available, patient will go to that particular room only. Just a second. Tablet.
ठीक है,
ठीक है, वो अपने को पता है. So what next can I do? If you read the first two questions, the first question is what is the maximum number of patients that the clinic can cater to on a given day? Any given day, given that Dr. Ken, the clinic is open from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. GB. Clinic is open from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Okay, Ben takes 10 minutes. That is 150 minutes in all available in that day. So Ben can at max service 15 people. Kane takes 15 minutes, 10 people. And Wayne takes 25 minutes per patient. So Kane can service 6 people at max. So what is the total number maximum possible? 31. Dikh raha hai. Mark kar do. Question 2. The queue was never empty on a Saturday. Which of them will earn the maximum amount in consultation? We already found out that Ben will be able to see kitne patients? 15 patients. Ben will be making 100 into 15, 1500. Kane will be able to make how much? 200 into 10, 2000 rupees. And Wayne will be able to make 300 into 6, 1800 rupees. Who is making maximum amount? Kane is making maximum amount. That is the answer to the second question. Question 3 and question 4 is about scheduling. किस दिन क्या हो रहा है? करना चाहिए, मैं नहीं करता पेपर में. I'm not saying it is impossible to do question 3 and question 4, but this is a moderate level set again. This is a moderate level set I would consider, because the first two questions are very easy to answer right on the face of it. दिख रहा है कि first answer is 31 and the second answer is going to be Dr. Kane. So in that sense, is there any harm in leaving the set in between? Absolutely no. If you can solve like if you can get 6 marks in like 5 minutes, and you for the remaining 6 marks you have to spend another 10 minutes, just take the trade-off for the next set and just leave. Doesn't matter much.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay. I think somebody had also pointed out कि यार time जब ज़्यादा ना हो and theta question अगर आए तो what kind of guesses to put in, what should we do, what can we do? I saw somebody who had put that in. Yeah, I think Utsav had put that in. Okay. So guys, while we are doing this, request from the backend team, Neha, Shruti and others, go ahead, like the session for them, keep them motivated. We'll keep doing what we need to do, keep them motivated so that they are also quite happy with what is happening. Having said that, I'll just go and share my screen once, Ravi. I'll just pick up one particular set. A theta isme questions hai, so maybe it'll help answer the query that Utsav had. So somebody was asking कि यार टाइम ज्यादा नहीं है, थीटा क्वेश्चन है, समझो इस सेट को मैं देख रहा हूँ तो मैं गेस कैसे करूँ? नाउ दीज आर थीटा क्वेश्चंस, ऑब्वियसली 3 ऑफ देम, तो गेस तो करना एकदम बिल्कुल बनता है, कोई रीजन ही नहीं है कि गेस ना करे. तो एक बार रीड करते हैं, लेट्स रीड इट टुगेदर. Mr. Profi, a professor of consumer behavior at a reputed management college, began a free one-day online session every day from Monday to Saturday. He was astonished to find that the number of attendees on Monday was equal to the number of attendees on Saturday. Very good. On Monday, equal to number of attendees on Saturday. Let me change the color. Yeah. Mr. Profi plotted a line graph depicting the change. Absolute difference in the number of attendees on the given day and the previous day. मतलब अगर ये 1 है, absolute difference between Tuesday and Monday is 1. अगर ये 0 है, absolute.
1 second, sorry to interrupt. Can you unpin that comment? उसके वजह से questions are hidden because they are at the bottom of the screen.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Fine now?
Fine.
Yeah. Coming back. So if you look at this, this number, this 1 basically means that the absolute difference between Tuesday and Monday is 1. This is 0. So it means absolute difference between Wednesday and Tuesday is 0. That means I can say Tuesday equals Wednesday. Similarly, absolute difference between Thursday and Wednesday is 2. Absolute difference between Friday and Thursday is 0. So I can say Thursday equals Friday. Absolute difference between Friday and Saturday is 1. ये देख के ही रीड करते ही मेरे को ये समझ आ रहा है. वेरी गुड. ओके. अब क्वेश्चंस है. वेरी गुड. देयर इज नो एडिशनल डेटा आल्सो. नाइस सिचुएशन टू बी इन. क्वेश्चंस है. मेरे को ऑलरेडी क्या पता है? मेरे को पता है मंडे इज इक्वल टू सैटरडे. तो एक चीज याद रखो, दिस इज इक्वल टू दिस. If I take a different color just to help you all a little, these two are equal. I'm just putting it in different colors. These two are equal, and let's take green. These two are equal. I've gotten 3 sets of equal. Please keep that in mind. अब मेरे को दिख रहा है सैटरडे एंड फ्राइडे अलग है. सैटरडे एंड फ्राइडे गारंटीड अलग है. मेरे को पता है वेडनेसडे एंड थर्सडे गारंटीड अलग है. मेरे को पता है मंडे एंड ट्यूसडे गारंटीड अलग है. व्हाई? बिकॉज द एब्सोल्यूट डिफरेंस इज नॉट 0. मतलब ये पेयर will be different from ये pair, will be different from ये pair. All these 3 pairs will have a different answer. Look at the last question. On maximum, how many days the number of attendees was the same? तुम्हारे number of attendees 3 अलग number होने वाले हैं. Say hypothetically Tuesday and Wednesday का एक number होगा X, Thursday and Friday का एक number होगा Y, Monday and Saturday का एक number होगा Z. So on maximum, how many days will they be the same? 2. Either it could be Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, Friday, or Monday, Saturday. So here you don't even need to think.
Yeah. One thing, someone is asking, shouldn't Monday be equal to Wednesday?
Shouldn't Monday be equal to Wednesday? Very good question. They've categorically mentioned about the term absolute difference. Okay, तो इसका मतलब क्या? absolute difference मतलब से Monday है, Tuesday है, Wednesday है, Thursday है, फ्राइडे है, सैटरडे. एंड जस्ट टू एक्सप्लेन मैं करता क्या हूं, मैं ये वाला क्वेश्चन उठा लेता हूं, पहला वाला, ठीक है, ताकि उससे समझ आ जाए. सैटरडे 11 है तो मंडे भी 11 हुआ होगा. एब्सोल्यूट डिफरेंस बिटवीन मंडे एंड ट्यूसडे इज 1. दैट मींस ट्यूसडे कुड आइदर बी 1 लेस देन मंडे और 1 मोर. सो द पॉसिबिलिटी इज ट्यूसडे कुड बी 10 और ट्यूसडे कुड बी 12. ठीक है. नाउ आई नो दैट ट्यूसडे एंड वेडनेसडे आर द सेम. इफ ट्यूसडे एंड वेडनेसडे आर द सेम, लाइक आई हैव प्रूवन, ये 10 होगा और यहाँ 12 होगा. I hope this is clear now. I hope this is clear now.
Yeah. Cool. I think the doubt is with reading the graph only. Yeah. Because Monday and Wednesday are both on 0 on the graph.
Acha. Okay. So yeah. So if you look at this, the graph is basically talking about the change in the number of attendees, not the absolute number of attendees. मंडे का कोई चेंज तो है नहीं, तो मंडे स्टार्ट्स एट 0 बिकॉज मंडे इज द स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट. ट्यूसडे का चेंज विद रिस्पेक्ट टू मंडे इज 1. ट्यूसडे का चेंज विद रिस्पेक्ट टू मंडे इज 1. सो ट्यूसडे इज आइदर 1 मोर और 1 लेस बिकॉज इट्स एब्सोल्यूट डिफरेंस. सो अगर मंडे 11 है, ट्यूसडे इज आइदर 10 और 12. वेडनेसडे का चेंज विद रिस्पेक्ट टू ट्यूसडे इज 0. मतलब वेडनेसडे इज इक्वल टू ट्यूसडे, नॉट वेडनेसडे इज इक्वल टू मंडे. ये एब्सोल्यूट वैल्यूज नहीं है, ये चेंज्ड in with respect to the previous day. I hope this part is clear. ठीक है. Now again, अब इसी क्वेश्चन पे अगर चल रहे थे, बहुत सिंपल होता ना. मेरे को वेडनेसडे टू थर्सडे जाना है, वेडनेसडे टू थर्सडे 2 का डिफरेंस है, दिस कुड बी 12 और दिस कुड हैव बीन 8. 2 का डिफरेंस है. थर्सडे एंड फ्राइडे सेम है, ये 12 ये 8. आई नो सैटरडे इज 11. 8 to 11 में जा नहीं सकता बिकॉज डिफरेंस बिटवीन फ्राइडे एंड सैटरडे इज 1. सो आई नो दिस इज गोइंग टू बी द राइट आंसर. How do I know? I don't even need to check this. Why? Because theta है, एक ही आंसर होगा. क्वेश्चन पूछा एवरेज बिटवीन नंबर ऑफ अटेंडीज बिटवीन वेडनेसडे एंड थर्सडे. वेडनेसडे एंड थर्सडे 10 एंड 12 है, 11. मेरे को सेकंड केस करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है बिकॉज थीटा एक आंसर आ गया. बट द रीजन व्हाई आई पिक्ड अप दिस क्वेश्चन वाज, इमेजिन यू हैड 2 minutes टू गो एंड दिस इज द सेट दैट यू हैड पिक्ड अप. ओके, लुक एट द सेकंड क्वेश्चन. वेरी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन इट इज. लुक एट द सेकंड क्वेश्चन. What does the second question state? Say तुम्हें ये सब समझ आ गया that Tuesday is Wednesday, Thursday is Friday, Monday is Saturday. इतना समझ आ गया. Second question states, if the number of attendees on Tuesday was 14, then the maximum number of attendees on Saturday could be. You know Monday and Saturday are the same. You know Monday and Tuesday में absolute difference 1 है. मतलब Monday या तो 13 था या 15 था. तुमसे पूछा है कि मैक्सिमम पॉसिबल वैल्यू क्या हो सकती है. मैं यहाँ पे आंख बंद करके, मेरे पास टाइम नहीं होगा, विदाउट इवन डिराइविंग मैं 15 लिख दूंगा. विदाउट इवन डिराइविंग आई विल टेक अ पंट ऑफ 15. बिकॉज 13 एंड 15 एक ही ऑप्शन था, 50% चांस है मैं राइट हूं, प्लस मैक्सिमम है बड़ा वाला वैल्यू लिख दो. अगर एक ही वैल्यू होना था कि खाली 13 सेटिस्फाई करता तो मैक्सिमम वर्ड ही नहीं होता. द फैक्ट दैट मैक्सिमम वर्ड है, दो सेटिस्फाई कर रहे होंगे इसलिए मैक्सिमम वर्ड है. सो आई वुड हैव टेकन अ पंट, कैटेगोरिकली आंसर 15 एंड मूव अहेड. इसको आप प्रूव भी कर सकते हो फिर कि भैया ये अगर 15 होगा तो ट्यूसडे एंड वेडनेसडे विल बी द सेम. 12 हो गया, सॉरी 14 हो गया. अब मेरे को यहाँ 15 जाना है, तो 14 से मैं यहाँ 16 चले जाता हूँ, ये दोनों 16 रहेंगे, 16 से 15 हो जाएगा. दिस सॉल्व्स इट. सो 15 हैज टू बी द आंसर. So this is what we basically mean when it comes to theta also. Now, even if you don't have time, sometimes looking at the question, you will be able to make a calculative guess where the probability of success is quite high. So please go ahead and do that. वो calculative guess जरूर ले लो, probability of success को high रहने दो. Don't make a mess there. Okay? So I hope this was helpful. ठीक है? Okay. और क्या questions थे? If we go back, we did carry a few more sets, but I don't think there is a need to go through all of them. Objective was in that. Objective was to drive home certain pointers that we are. Ravi, maybe the first half of the PPT, I think some of those pointers might be important. If we just go through those, wrap it up, uske basis pe the questions that come, we can go ahead and have a look at it. I'll go back to the PPT then. Okay. So how set selection, I think we've spoken about this as well, that when you look at set selection, kya karna chahiye. Spend 3 to 5 minutes scanning all. So that is my structure, not Ravi's. So we've spoken about that. Prioritize sets based on, what we spoke about in the previous slide. This is how you go ahead and prioritize your sets. Avoid sets with ambiguous wordings, multiple dependent variables, or data, or sets that feel data heavy. I think this is very important. Please keep this in mind. अवॉइडिंग जनरली खाली इसके बेसिस पे नहीं होता. अवॉइडिंग जनरली क्वेश्चंस को देख के भी होता है. कई बार क्या होता है, डेटा हैवी सेट लग रहा है लेकिन क्वेश्चन जो होते हैं वो एकदम बच्चे होते हैं. क्वेश्चन देख के आपको समझ आ रहा है, अरे ये तो एलिमिनेट हो सकता है, ये तो एलिमिनेट हो सकता है. सो जस्ट बिकॉज इट सीम्ड डेटा हैवी ऑन द फेस ऑफ इट, डोंट डू इट. दिस इज वन ऑफ द पैरामीटर्स. इसको आपको कंबाइन करना पड़ेगा along with the question, along with the options, along with what the other sets look like, and so on and so forth. Okay, so please ensure that you go ahead and do that. And do keep in mind, there are always time traps. I think Ravi and I both spoke about it. Easy looking set hoga, set kar liya, 2 questions are based on that, and the next 3 questions are all with a different condition. That is a time trap kind of a set. कि 2 क्वेश्चन हो गए, अब नेक्स्ट तीनों में तुम्हें फिर से वो टेबल बनानी पड़ रही है क्योंकि अब न्यू कंडीशन है. So be very careful in those sort of sets. Don't go ahead and फंसना मत उन sort of sets पे. ठीक है? Yeah, Ravi, anything you want to add here? Structure perspective से? मेरे को ये स्ट्रक्चर मेल फीमेल वाला अच्छा काफी लगता है. Not that ज्यादा क्वेश्चन आते हैं, पर मेल फीमेल को डिफरेंशिएट कर लो from a structure perspective. Those elements I think important.
See, if there are 2 sets in the exam, and one of them talks about 4 people ABCD coming from 4 cities PQRS, while the other talks about 4 people who are randomly Amla, Gautam, Ravi, and Shivku, right? ऐसा कुछ. Then I would go for that set जिसमें ABCD और PQRS है, because our brain functions like that. अगर नाम ऐसे है कि if the 4 names are Amitabh, Amar, Akbar, Anthony, and Amitabh, all 4 A's, you'll get confused more often while reading those data points. The complexity, अगर ज़्यादा data का complexity नहीं भी है तो आपको complex लगने लगता है, right? But if the names are A, B, C, D in 4 different letters, they start with 4 different initials, you'll be able to solve it much faster, is what my belief is, right? So structuring before you solve is very necessary, right? If you are not able to turn it into a visual form, if you are not able to visualize कि तेरा representation कैसे होगा, then it is going to be all that more difficult for you to crack it. But having said that, let me tell you one thing very clearly. Don't outrightly reject a set. Don't outrightly, just like एक पूरा पैसेज अगर फिलोसफी पे है और अपने को फिलोसफी नहीं चमकता अपन छोड़ देंगे, वो वाला मत करना काम. Because even in very difficult sets, there will be one or two easy questions that you can carry forward. GB, if you could just go through that 1 day event, 2 day event wala set that is there in this worksheet.
Yeah.
जाते जाते 3 मिनट लगाया है तो 3 नंबर लेके जाओ भाई सेट से, इतना तो मैं बोलूंगा.
Yeah.
No. 1 day event, 2 day event. This one.
यही है ना?
Yeah. So this set says there are 15 girls and some boys. They are planning a get together for either a 1 day event or a 2 day event or a 3 day event. There are 6 singers, 4 of them are boys. There are dancers and then there are girls. So we have to differentiate between singers, dancers and dancers, right? And then we also have to look at the people interested in a 1 day event or a 2 day event or a 3 day event. It is known that people who are interested in a 3 day event are also interested in 2 day and 1 day. People who are interested in a 2 day event is also interested in a 1 day, but it is not vice versa. ऐसा करके डेटा दिया है. तो the very first thing that comes to my mind is, boss, मैं इसको रिप्रेजेंट कैसे करूंगा? या तो मैं 3 days, 2 days और 1 days के लिए Venn diagram बना लूं, but within that Venn diagram with of 3 days, 2 days and 1 days, where 1 day is a subset of everything, 3 days is a subset of everything, 2 days is a subset of 3 days, and like that. Either I go with that, but within that again there is a bifurcation that I have to do in terms of who is a singer and who is a dancer. So I am not now looking at 14 8 areas like you get in a 3 set Venn diagram. I am looking at 16 areas inside a 3 set Venn diagram, which is going to be a represented nightmare for me in terms of representation, right? So this is a set that I would outright say कि बॉस मेरे को नहीं समझ में आ रहा है कि उसको रिप्रेजेंट कैसे किया जाए, मैंने ऐसा नहीं देखा है, मैं छोड़ दूंगा. But at the same time, if you read the first question, it is known that first point, it is known that 60% of the boys are interested in something. That means number of boys is a multiple of 5. That is one understanding. There are 15 girls in the class is given. That is another understanding. Question 3 has some fractions given. You have 7 by 13, 9 by 13. दो options में 13 आया है. So what my guess is, because the first question is theta, पंट तो मार ही सकता हूँ, right? First question is theta. If I answer it incorrectly also, having read इतना, कुछ दिक्कत की बात नहीं है. But if that is correct, the 3 minutes I have spent on this set are going to give me 3 marks. So I know that most probably denominator of people, total number of people is a multiple of 13. I know number of girls is 15 and I know number of boys is a multiple of 5. So I am looking at, okay, 15 plus some 5x is equal to some 13y. 13 का 5 का multiple मेरे को सामने दिख रहा है 65. If that is the case, number of boys should be 50. I will mark 50 and leave. Most likely that is the answer. नहीं भी है तो I will not lose anything. So there will be one odd such theta kind of a question, one odd easy question in these kind of sets also, which are a nightmare for visualization or representation. वो easy question तो solve करके निकल जाना होता है. But at the same time, someone was repeatedly asking about post office वाला set where people are patrolling ऐसा ऐसा करके और उसमें घूमते रहते हैं in that network, right? Now that is again representation wise and putting data into the table wise, it is not very easy to do, right? But there are no questions also that are helpful like that in that kind of a set. तो वो पूरा set में शायद छोड़ देता. So it depends on the kind of set and the kind of questions and the ease in understanding those questions, that how many questions you will solve or how you will live. But at the end of the day, the lesson being, if you're not able to represent data properly, नहीं दिख रहा है flow, तो इट्स लाइक मैंने क्वांट का एक क्वेश्चन पढ़ा और मेरे को उसका कॉन्सेप्ट ही नहीं पता, मैं वहां जाके कॉन्सेप्ट को मैं इन्वेंट नहीं करने की कोशिश करूंगा. दैट इज व्हाट आई वुड सजेस्ट. इफ यू कैन सी फ्रॉम द सेटअप कि अच्छा 4 रो होंगे, 8 कॉलम होंगे, बना डालो. अगर आपको वो सेटअप देख के नहीं पता चल रहा है कितने रो कितने कॉलम होंगे, छोड़ डालो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, राइट. बट व्हेन यू आर लीविंग, just look at the questions, see if you can pull something out of it, because you would have spent 2 to 3 minutes. If you get those 3 marks accidentally, who cares कि कितने set solve किए.
Absolutely. So there are a couple of them asking कि mean median mode का भी एक set ले लो. So while we won't go ahead and complete the take the complete set and solve it in totality, but at least concept एक बार देख लेते एक particular set के साथ. I have the set here, so let's read it together. 9 diabetic patients A to I are waiting for a consultation outside Dr. Tiwari's clinic. Each patient has taken a blood test as instructed by the doctor. The blood test results include 3 readings: fasting blood glucose levels, postprandial blood glucose levels on the day of the test, and HbA1c. The table below shows the range and the mode for these readings. Below लिखा है, यहाँ पे हम लोग ने representation के लिए बस side पे रखा हुआ. So that is the table which is showing reading. Range है 80 to 140, 160 to 240, 5 to 7. Mode given है. Mode का मतलब I hope you know that value which repeats the most number of times. So 80 is repeating the most number of times, 160 most number of times, 5 most number. ठीक है. For these patients, FBG values are multiples of 20, whereas each PPB value is a multiple of 40. So, agar FBG values are multiples of 20, what are the possibilities for the FBG values? If they are multiples of 20, they can be 80, 100, 120, 140. Each PPB value is a multiple of 40. So 160, 200, 240. The doctor calculates a M value using the weighted average of FBG and PPB. पता नहीं क्या weighted average, but some weighted average. ठीक है. The prescription criteria based on the test results are as follows. Tablet X is prescribed if M is greater than equal to 150 or if HbA is greater than 6. When I say HbA, you can assume it is this because you mentioned it. Tablet Y is prescribed if M is less than 150 and HbA is less than equal to 6. Then there is some additional info. Question देखते हैं. Average of all possible M values of patient F, मतलब M value चाहिए होगी. How many patients were prescribed tablet Y? उसके लिए मेरे को ये जानना होगा कि भैया M value क्या है या HB value क्या है. Among these 9 patients, there are 5 females and 4 males. If the difference between the maximum and minimum M value for the group of 5 males, female patients is 6, then which of the following is the complete list of all female patients? ठीक है, लंबा. Which of the following is true regarding the FBG reading? When it start giving me this na, a relationship greater than equal to, less than equal to, मेरे को ये अच्छा लगता है because इसमें मतलब मेरे को categorically दिख जाएगा cases. For example, C greater than F है, यहाँ पे C equals F है, यहाँ पे C greater than F है, C equals F है. तो C equals F या C greater than F, अगर मेरे को वो दो values मिल गई FBG के, मेरे को पता चल जाएगा दो option eliminate हो गए. Similarly, relationship between F and H is there, C and H is there, and so on and so forth. So this looks like a question which I can do basis elimination when I'm reading the question. The average PPB value of all 9 patients. So if I'm looking at this one, इसके लिए all 9 patients का मेरे को data चाहिए. M value for patient F, यहाँ पे मेरे को data नहीं चाहिए, मेरे को possible values चाहिए patient F के लिए. Last वाले के लिए all 9 patients का data चाहिए. Now let's look at what the additional data was. Patient B has distinct maximum value for all parameters with M value of 210. Patient C receives medication Y. HB readings of patient C, E, H are equal but different from their mode. The FBG of patients A, D, G, H and I only match the modal values. Patient C's FBG is higher than that of H. The patient C's FBG is higher than that of H. Look at this. It is mentioned. Now look at question 4. FBG C का H से ज्यादा है. Option 1 में हो रहा है, B में नहीं हो रहा. C का H से ज्यादा C में हो रहा है, D में भी हो रहा है. So B is out. So I'm already down to A, C and D. Good. The PPB values for patients D and F are neither maximum nor minimum. The M value for patients A, G, I is 136, median 100. तो ऐसे read कर लिया. Now, how do you think you need to represent the table? You've got 9 people, 9 patients. For each of the patients, you need these values. And there is one additional value, which is the M value. That means मेरे को 4 values चाहिए हर patient के लिए, FBG, PPB, M and HbA, और no patient है. तो ये basic simple representation है grid का. कर देते हैं. B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. क्या है values? FBG, PPB. अब इसके साथ मैं M लिख दे रहा हूं. Reason being M is going to be a weighted average of these two. तो साथ में लिखना मेरे को अच्छा लगता है. HbA. My handwriting is nowhere close to Ravi's and my drawing skills are also nowhere close to Ravi's. तो straight line तो मेरे से बनती ही नहीं है. पहले ही बता देता हूं. टेढ़ी मेढ़ी बनेगी, बट ठीक है. As long as clear हो और मेरे को समझ आ रहा है when I'm representing it on a piece of paper during CAT, that is the essential point. And I want to give myself enough space between all the cells, so I always make it slightly big. देखो, हाँ, अब each unique cell तो बड़े प्यार से दिख रहा है, कोई टेंशन नहीं है. ठीक है. Now let's read. Patient B has distinct maximum value for all 3 parameters. Distinct maximum value for all 3 and distinct. तो B को maximum value मिल रहे हैं all 3 parameters के. FBG का maximum value क्या है? 140. PPB का 240. थर्ड पैरामीटर HbA 7 होगा. एंड इट इज डिस्टिंक्ट, मतलब और किसी को 140, 240 एंड 7 नहीं मिला. इंपॉर्टेंट. M value 210. This M value really helps me, na, because they had told me that this M value will be a weighted average of FBG and PPB. अब मेरे को 210 आपने weighted average दे दिया. Isn't this a question of allegation? 140 है, 240 है, फाइनली 210 है. एलिगेट करूंगा तो रेशियो क्या है? 140, 210, 70, 240 है. सो रेशियो इज 30:70, मतलब 3:7. सो वेटेड एवरेजेस आप 3:7 कर रहे हो. ये भी मिल गया मेरे को. सी द कॉन्सेप्ट्स बीइंग टेस्टेड. लगता है मीन मीडियन मोड के ऊपर है, मोड के ऊपर वाला फंडा है. अभी तक हमने मोड से रिलेटेड कुछ नहीं किया. ओके. पेशेंट सी रिसीव्स मेडिकेशन वाई. ओके, यहाँ पे लिख देते हैं वाई साथ में खुद के लिए. ओके. The HbA readings of patients C, E and H are equal but different from mode. Okay. HbA readings. अब HbA 7 यूनिक है, तो मतलब 5 and 6 ही बचा. C, E, H are equal but different from mode. Mode is 5. मतलब C, E and H will not be 5. It can't be 7. It has to be 6. So C is 6, E and H. Now please keep in mind mode is 5. Okay, mode is 5. ये याद रखना. मतलब 5 come maximum number of time. अभी तक 6 has come thrice, 7 has come once. I have how many positions left? 5 positions left. So will 5 come 5 times or will 5 comes 4 times and 6 will come 1 time? I don't know at this point in time, but उन दोनों में से एक है. Either 5 will come 5 times. Now think. समझो 5 comes 4 times. And if 5 comes 4 times, then 6 एक और बार आ जाएगा. तो सडनली अब मोड क्या हो जाएगा? 5 and 6 दोनों हो जाएंगे. 4, 4 and 1, 5 and 6 दोनों हो जाएंगे, because 6 comes 4 times, 5 comes 4 times. That means if 5 comes 4 times, then both 5 and 6 will be mode, but you know you've got a unique mode of 5. That means 5 has to come 5 times and 6 will only come 3 times. That means the remaining all are 5. Mode का definition. I hope this is clear. I'm not seeing the chat box, Ravi. I hope कोई question नहीं आया अभी तक.
Yeah. GB, on this point, see, if the mode is, if 5 comes 4 times and 6 also comes 4 times, then GB, is the mode calculated as 5.5?
No. Mode is not like median. Median में हम बोलते हैं कि it is the average of the middle two values. In mode, there can be multiple modes in a data set. Mode is basically those numbers or those elements that are having the highest frequency. मतलब they are occurring the maximum number of times. So if there is a particular value that is occurring 5 times, which is max, and another value which is also occurring 5 times, so then there are 2 modes. 5 becomes the mode and 6 becomes a mode. Because here in the question they've categorically stated 5 is a mode. I know that 6 and 5 both cannot occur the same number of times, hence both cannot occur 4 times.
Right, that's the reasoning why 5 will only come 5 times, and 5 could not have come 4 times, and 6 could not have come 4 times as well. So also GB, if you could just show an example of मीडियन में एवरेज कैसे आ जाता है, मतलब odd number of terms में मीडियन and even number of terms में मीडियन.
सिंपल रखते हैं. say I have 4 terms and then I have 5 terms. So 5 से पहले शुरू करते हैं. Say I have my terms are 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. जब भी आपके पास कोई भी terms हो ना, arrange them in either ascending order or descending order. In this case it is already arranged in ascending order for me. So good, arrangement हो गई है. Middle value, because there are 5 terms, middle is the third term. This is the third term. Mean is 4. Now assume the values given to me are 4, 3, 1 and 2. First and foremost, this is neither ascending nor descending. तो इसको ascending order या descending आपके ऊपर है. Already descending के format में है, तो इसको 4, 3, 2, 1 कर देते, easy है. इसका middle क्या है? 4 का middle, 4 is an even number. उसके middle 2 terms होंगे. Middle term क्या होता है? उसके left and right में equal number of terms होने चाहिए. यहाँ पे ऐसा कोई term नहीं है, वो term इन दोनों के बीच में है. क्योंकि इन दोनों के बीच में है, इसलिए इन दोनों को ले लिया जाता है और इनका एवरेज लिया जाता है. सो द मीडियन बिकम्स एवरेज ऑफ 2 and 3, which is 2.5. I hope this is clear.
In case odd number of observations are there, you write them in ascending or descending order. Middle term is the median. In case even number of observations are there, बीच के जो 2 terms है उसका arithmetic mean, उन दोनों का average is median. ठीक है? That's the concept of median. And this is the concept of mode. And in the question of mode, Varahi is saying that I saw in one set that about bimodal and unimodal words were written. Bimodal essentially means कि there are 2 modes. Like इस set में अगर 6 भी 4 times आता और 5 भी 4 times आता, it would have become a bimodal observation. Right?
Correct.
Unimodal means only एक ही mode है, तो it is unimodal.
Absolutely. ठीक है. कमिंग बैक टू दिस, फुल नहीं करेंगे, थोड़ा सा बेसिक रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ डेटा कर लेते हैं सो दैट यू अंडरस्टैंड बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट्स एंड देन वील मूव अहेड. ओके, नेक्स्ट क्या था? द एफबीजी ऑफ पेशेंट्स ए डी, द एफबीजी ऑफ पेशेंट्स ए डी जी एंड आई ओनली मैच द मॉडल वैल्यू. सो ओनली दीज 4 मैच द मॉडल वैल्यू. मॉडल वैल्यू क्या है? मॉडल वैल्यू इज 80. Only for these 4 it matches the model value. Okay, so for these 4 it will be equal to 80. That is what it means. So A, D, G and I is equal to 80. A, D, G, I. ये 80 हो गए. Lovely. Patient C's FBG is higher than that of patient H. C is higher than H. Now look at what are the possible modal values. 80, 100, 120, 140. 140 चला गया क्योंकि वो डिस्टिंक्ट था, यूनिक था. 80 चला गया, 4 लोगों को देना था. बचा मेरे पास 100 and 120, जिसमें अभी आपने मेरे को बोल दिया है that C is greater than H. Between 100 and 120, if C has to be greater than H, then C will be 120, H will be 100. C 120, H 100. There is no other possibility. Why? Again, keep in mind the important keyword was the word only. Only A, D, G and I match the modal value. मतलब और कोई नहीं. अगर ये लिखा होता A, D, G and I match the modal value, then I don't know. हो सकता है और भी होते जो मैच करते, और भी 80 हो सकते थे. यहाँ मेरे को पता है. Hence I know 80 and 140 have been done away with. I am only between 100 and 120. ठीक है? So I can say C is 120. C was greater than H. H is 100. अब ये देख लो. C is greater than H पे मैं ऑलरेडी आ गया हूं. C is greater than H आपको पता ही था, वो ऑलरेडी आपको यहाँ पे अब चीजें दिख रही है. ठीक है? Now let's see where I am. Let's see where I am. आगे बढ़ते हैं. Okay. The FBG ठीक है. Patient C's FBG is higher than that of patient H. C is higher than that of patient H. We've already done that. We know that. The PPB values for patients D and F are neither the maximum nor the minimum. PPP values for patients D and F. D is neither maximum nor minimum. PPB की वैल्यू ही 3 है, 160 and 240. मिनिमम 160, मैक्सिमम 240. मतलब 200 होना होगा. मतलब for D and F PPB is 200. D and F is 200. Clear? यहाँ तक clear? The M value for patients A, G, and I is 136. Patient A is 136. G is also 136. I is also 136. Guess what? If the M value for all three are equal and their FBG values are equal, matlab their PPB value will also be equal, because M value is nothing but weighted average of FBP and PPB. और वो weighted average पता भी है मेरे को 3:7 का रेशियो है. ठीक है, तो मैं ये वैल्यू निकाल सकता हूं. अभी निकाल नहीं रहा हूं बट निकाल सकते हैं. And the median M value is 142. So another important concept of median M value, this 142 now, because there are 9 terms, A to I, there are 9 of them, this 142 will be the value, M value of the 5th person when arranged in ascending or descending order. Please keep that in mind. That is what this median means. ठीक है, तो representation of mean median mode हो गया. Now look at the questions. वापस आ जाते हैं इस question 4 में. Which of the following is true regarding the FBG reading? FBG reading, first बोलता है C is greater than F is greater than H. C 120 है, H 100 है. If C has to be greater than F greater than H, the only possibility is F is between 120 and 100, which is not possible. Out. फोर्थ ऑप्शन देखते हैं, C is equal to F, मतलब इसको भी 120 कर देते हैं, which is greater than E which is greater than H, मतलब E जो है वो between F and H होगा, मतलब E is between 120 and 100, which is not possible again. The only possibilities are there. This is gone. So this has to be the answer. मतलब C is greater than F is equal to H, H 100 है, तो F भी 100 है, which is greater than D. ये अपने को सारे वैल्यूज मिल गए. अपने को ये पता है कि ये जो E है वो अब या तो 100 होना है या 120. That we can go ahead and decipher going forward. I will stop it here because this should have been enough to understand the basic concept behind mode and median. Mean तो हमें पता ही है, average है, but this should have been enough to understand क्या है. And once again an example of बिना full table वेबल करे एक question तो निकल आया. Right? Over to you, Ravi. Just
yeah. So guys, that's more or less about questions where mean, median, mode are involved. In the last 3 years, we have seen multiple occurrences of questions based on mean, median, and mode. In fact, in 2023, all the 3 slots had one set based on this concept of mean, median, and mode. These are questions that will have a lot of data written in it, right? But it will not be very difficult in general. ठीक है, बहुत डिफिकल्ट डेटा पॉइंट्स नहीं होते, कॉम्प्लेक्स डेटा पॉइंट्स नहीं होते. Once you know and understand the concept of mean, median, and mode, it is going to be not very difficult to solve these questions. But yes, again, as GB has stated, there's always help that you can take, more or less, more often than not, there is help that you can take from questions as well as from the options there are in these kind of questions, because primarily these questions will have 2 to 3 different parts to it, right? And it will be about, because mean या median या mode का value already दे दिया होता है, तो mean, median, mode पूछता नहीं है, तो आंसर questions के थीटा कम होते हैं, right? Options वाले question ही ज्यादा आते हैं, because you have to figure out who got the median score, or how many people got, for example, in this, who were prescribed the tablet X or tablet Y. On that basis you have to answer. So
just one thing I'll pick up here, Ravi, इसी question से related, and then I think we can probably just wrap it up. We've done mostly what we wanted to. For the last question, can we estimate the average without calculation? यार last question अगर देखोगे and options देखोगे ना, just look at the options. 176, 177 के बीच में, 177, 178 के बीच में, 178, 179, 155. They are so close together. They're right next to each other. So I would not want to be one guessing in such a situation when the options are so very close together. So या तो मैं मेहनत करके निकालूंगा, मैं यहाँ पे अप्रोक्सीमेशन नहीं करूंगा. अप्रोक्सीमेशन अगर ये होता ना 150 to 160, 170 to 180, 200 to 210, 220 to 230, मैं अप्रोक्सीमेट मारता, बिल्कुल मारता. अच्छा रेंज है, प्यार मोहब्बत वाला रेंज है, डेटा थोड़ा बहुत आ गया और डेटा पॉइंट्स आ जाएंगे अगर थोड़ी और मेहनत करे, एस्टिमेशन हो सकता है. to estimate between 175 and 176, 178, 179, you are almost talking about me reaching almost very close to almost a single decimal place, क्योंकि मेरे को फुल नंबर निकालना पड़ेगा. तो इधर तो मैं एस्टिमेट एटलीस्ट नहीं करता.
इनफैक्ट सेकंड जो क्वेश्चन है उसको तुम एस्टिमेट कर सकते थे. हाउ मेनी पेशेंट्स वर प्रिस्क्राइब्ड टैबलेट वाई, दिया है कि टैबलेट वाई, टैबलेट एक्स इज प्रिस्क्राइब्ड इफ एम इज ग्रेटर देन और इक्वल टू 150, वो दिया है. और आपको पता है मीडियन एम वैल्यू 142 है और HbA ग्रेटर देन 6 एक ही बंदे का है, उसको तो मिल रहा है टैबलेट एक्स, राइट. तो ज्यादा से ज्यादा 4 ही लोग हो सकते थे. 4 3 2 1 वर द ओनली पॉसिबिलिटीज. कुछ भी मार देते, 25% प्रोबेबिलिटी आंसर करेक्ट होने का था वहां.
करेक्ट. ठीक है. So this is basically some of the elements that we wanted to bring to you guys. Nikunj, your question on how to deal with prime number related sets, predominantly primes above 40. यार सबसे पहले primes above 40 पता हो, ऐसी सिचुएशन ना हो वहां बैठ के डिराइव कर रहे हो. और वो जनरली अगर होता है तो वो सेट पे डिपेंड करता है. रिमेंबर एक मॉक में भी आया था जहां देख के वो ट्रिपलेट समझ आ रहा था दैट इट हैज टू बी अ ट्रिपलेट. So it will boil down to what the question is asking. The question will not be about prime number and greater than 40. The question will have some interesting data after that, जहाँ पे एक आप ट्रिपलेट ढूंढ रहे होगे where they are consecutive triplets and the sum is equal to something. या फिर वो बोल देगा the maximum difference between any two numbers is not more than something or less than something. There'll be some additional data to go ahead and use. The question will not be based on ये प्राइम नंबर है और वो ग्रेटर देन 40 अब कुछ करो. वो डेटा होगा और कुछ करने के लिए. सो बी वेरी क्लियर कि आपको प्राइम नंबर्स पता है क्या है. 41 शुरू होता है स्मॉलेस्ट, 97 बिगेस्ट. अगर आप ग्रेटर देन 40 स्पेसिफिकली कर रहे हो उसके बीच में कितने आते हैं, एंड देन ऑटोमेटिकली डिपेंडिंग अपॉन व्हाट इज देयर यू विल बी एबल टू डील विद इट. One last question, maybe Ravi, to pick up, and I think that's a nice way to end it, is caselets. My guess is he's talking about almost like an arrangement or a caselet kind of a thing, and his objective, maybe Juhi's objective might probably be कि cases अगर आएंगे multiple तो क्या करना है. But yeah, your take.
तो या इसमें ना आई थिंक इन केसेस जब बनने होते हैं तो क्वेश्चंस हेल्प यू द मोस्ट, राइट. इफ केसेस बनने हैं, मतलब बनाते बनाते आपको लग रहा है केसेस बनेंगे, लेकिन इफ द क्वेश्चंस आर डेफिनेट, दैट मींस वन केस इज गोइंग टू स्टिक. वन केस इज गोइंग टू स्टिक. You assume one case, go ahead until it is negated. If it is negated, you already know what the other case is going to be, right? वैसे that is one way. The second way is in this kind of caselet arrangement kind of questions. The beauty is the questions are, if it is a 5 question set, 2 plus 3 type होता है, 2 direct answer होते हैं और 3 if वाले केस होते हैं. और वो 3 में से 2 ifs will be the same condition and the fifth last if will be a different condition. मतलब 2 केस बनने हैं. So what I would do is in that kind of a set, okay, with minimal data, minimal arrangement, I should be able to get the first 6 marks because that will be true for all of this, right? The other 2 questions, 3 questions answer करने के लिए I will go for the case which is asked the most, रख दूंगा उसको. उसका कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी के बेसिस पे आई विल टेक अ कॉल वेदर आई वांट टू मेक दैट थर्ड केस और नॉट. मतलब वो जो लास्ट क्वेश्चन का केस है वो करना है कि नहीं. हाँ, इन केस वेयर एज तिवारी नो विथ द्वितिजारी वाला द्वितिजा. Okay, so is saying that sometimes there are more than 2 cases also. Avoid that question that says how many different possible cases are there. इसको तो मैं क्वांट में भी अवॉइड करता हूँ. How many different positive integral solutions are there to this को तो मैं क्वांट में भी अवॉइड करता हूँ. Avoid that question. But in that, the beauty is again the remaining questions will come with a case condition. How many different possible arrangements are there के लिए तो आपको सारे केस बना के देखने पड़ेंगे कि कौन सा स्टिक करेगा कौन सा नहीं. But the remaining 3 questions that will be there will say if B is from Bangalore, then who is the person who is from Chennai? Then for that question you put that case. ठीक है. और वो हाउ मेनी केसेस वाला हमेशा टीटा ही होता है. तो 3 क्वेश्चन में अगर 3 अलग अलग केस बन रहे हैं उसके नीचे वाले, तो 3 मार के आ जाओ. टीटा में पहले क्वेश्चन
Yep.
का, दिल बड़ा करके मार के आ जाओ, क्या होगा ज्यादातर? कुछ नहीं होगा, राइट? हाँ, सारे केस बना के ही मैं क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करने जाऊंगा इज नॉट अ ग्रेट अप्रोच if there is more than 2 cases. If there are only more than only 2 cases, या तो 1 होगा या 2 होगा ये वैल्यू, ऐसा दिख रहा है तुमको, तो 1/2 टेबल में लिख लो और जाओ क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करने के लिए. Don't try to make 2 different cases or 2 different tables in that kind of question. GB, anything else in handling
No,
this?
I think that's it, in sync with that. That's exactly how I would also do it. The only thing is कई बार होता क्या है ना, हम cases जब solve करने जा रहे होते हैं, like Ravi stated, give as much importance as you can to the options, because that will just ease your pain more often than not. And it'll happen most of the times that the options are easing your pain. And कई बार ये भी होगा कि 2-3 अलग केस बन रहे हैं, लेकिन जो क्वेश्चन पूछे उनमें 2-3 क्वेश्चन का एक ही यूनिक आंसर है. तो इवन इफ यू आर एबल टू सॉल्व दैट वन पर्टिकुलर केस, you might be able to get 2 to 3 answers, because they would be definitive answers. वो होगा नहीं could be, वो होगा what it is. How much did Ravi score? Next होगा how many different values could Gautam have had? तो मतलब cases है. How much did Ravi score direct है. तो तुम अपने एक पर्टिकुलर केस से रवि का स्कोर निकाल के वो मार्क करके तो आगे चले जाओ, केसेस बनाने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, चाहे 2 क्वेश्चन ऐसे हो जाए. So कई बार you might not need to solve all cases to solve 2 to 3 questions out of the 4-5 which are there. Please keep that in mind. Okay. One last question which I'll probably pick up is that A5. I'm also going to shoot a video, I think tomorrow or day after, on how to use that A5 sheet. This is your A5 sheet. Okay. This is basic. मेरे को पीछे का ये बंद करना पड़ेगा. And I don't know अभी यहाँ से होगा. Just give me a second to see if I can
video
remove it.
settings में हो जाएगा जी भी. हाँ, done.
हुआ? Yeah.
हाँ, हो गया.
This is what the A4 sheet looks like. ये ruled है, generally ruled नहीं होती वो, ऐसे होगी. This is how it will look. And वो this is the pad that you get. If I'm not wrong, there are about 10 pages in this pad. Okay. DILR कैसे solve करना है वो आपके ऊपर depend करता है. टेबल्स जनरली ऐसी नहीं होती कि 10x10 होगा या 5x8 होगा और समथिंग. अगर वो होएगी भी तो भाई इसको जस्ट शिफ्ट लाइक दिस, और वो जनरली होती नहीं. जनरली इट्स नथिंग मोर देन 4 or 5 कॉलम्स दैट यू नीड टू ऑपरेट. यू कैन सॉल्व इट लाइक दिस. One important thing to keep in mind is you will be doing everything with a pen. You will not be allowed a pencil or anything. Everything will be with a pen. No, it is not spiral. So each time you are doing missing data in a table ना, please ensure वो जो missing data तुम भर रहे हो उसको circle कर दे रहे हो या कुछ कर दे रहे हो. समझो ये table है मेरे पास. I'm just drawing a simple table and I'll show it to you. पेन ऐसे सिचुएशन में कई बार बोलता है नहीं सॉरी मैं नहीं चलूंगा, क्या कर लोगे. ओके, से 5, 10, 12. See, this is how I would represent. If you're able to see, you'll be able to see 3 numbers which are not circled and 3 which are circled. The 3 which are not circled are the ones which were given in the data, in the question, in the setup. The circled ones are those which I have derived. The reason I will circle it is especially in cases, in questions where there will be 1 or 2 questions जहाँ पे वो suddenly condition change कर देंगे या कुछ, मेरे को पता रहे मेरे को कौन से हटाने हैं. Secondly, अगर मैं कोई गलती कर दूं मेरे को पता रहे कहाँ पे गलती हो सकती है, सब पे नहीं है. Because नहीं तो स्क्रीन पे देखना वापस आना और ये सब पे बहुत पंगे होते हैं. So this is one thing which I recommend that you should not, that you should do in terms of doing this. So these are 1 or 2 basic things that you should go ahead and handle. I also of the believe that even when it comes to RC and all, scribble करना जरूरी है. Making certain notes are important. कई बार मैं ये भी लिख देता हूँ para 1 with second line is important, para 2 में third line is, I do all of that. But DILR and quant perspective से the way to go ahead and approach, we are coming up with a video on that sometime tomorrow or day after. But this is basically going to be the size. If not done already, कल जो भी सेक्शनल करोगे या मॉक करोगे इस ऐसे साइज पे कर लेना, तुम्हें ऑटोमेटिकली समझ आ जाएगा, थोड़ा यूज्ड हो जाओगे यार. अभी
GB, if you could just put my slide on screen.
Yeah.
See, there is one thing that I practice. If my screen is visible, yeah, there's one thing that I practice definitely in the exam. because I never know when I am solving a set of DILR, when I am starting it, I never know how much space it is going to take me for working, because मेरा judgment गलत भी हो सकता है. तो this is your front page of that notepad. ऐसा दिखता है वो और ऐसा flip होता है. Okay, when you open it, you will be able to see ऐसा बीच में stapler यहाँ पे and ऐसे. So whenever I start a new DILR set, I start from this so that this entire 2 pages is in front of me. DILR के लिए especially, I start from this page ताकि वो दोनों पेज मेरे आंखों के सामने हो.
ऐसा
अगर जरूरत पड़ी
like
मेरे को एक्स्ट्रा डेटा वर्क करना है, 2 केस बनाने हैं, पड़ गई वो जरूरत, तो मैं वो कर पाऊँ. क्वांट के लिए I
I'm
can
just
start
showing
from
it, Ravi.
yeah.
Like this is what Ravi is saying. खाली यहाँ पे ये रूल्ड है, वो रूल्ड नहीं होगा, दोनों ही प्लेन होंगे,
राइट,
ब्लैंक होगा.
दैट इज. और ऐसे ही ऊपर को ही खुलता है, स्पाइरल नहीं है. ठीक है, इट डजंट ओपन साइडवर्ड्स, ऊपर को खुलता है जैसे अपना नोटपैड नॉर्मली
Exactly the same.
होता है. एक्स्ट्रा नोटपैड नहीं मिलता है
यार वो ना सेंटर टू सेंटर डिपेंड करता है. आई विल ऑल्सो एड दैट ओवर द लास्ट 5 years आई हैव बीन लकी ट्वाइस. जब मिला है मैंने नहीं मांगा बट औरों ने मांगा और उनको मिला, एंड 3 बार नहीं मिला है. लेट्स पुट इट लाइक दैट. सो अज्यूम करो नहीं मिलेगा, लेकिन अगर आसपास किसी ने मांग लिया और उसको मिल गया, देन यू नो कि अब मिल रहा है एंड देन यू कैन आस्क फॉर इट. बट वर्क थिंकिंग कि नहीं मिलेगा, टू बी वेरी फ्रैंक, चाहिए नहीं होता.
हाँ,
10
देयर आर
is more than
32,
enough.
देयर आर 8 शीट्स ऑफ पेपर इन दैट, देयर आर 32
अच्छा 8,
पेजेस.
आई थॉट 10 थे.
हाँ,
8 है.
32, हाँ 32 to 40 कुछ होते हैं. और अगर आपको जरूरत पड़ रही है एक और नोटपैड की, तो आप अपनी जिंदगी के साथ बहुत अन्याय कर चुके हो पेपर में. 40 पेज नहीं भरने हैं आपको वहां जाके रफ में, ठीक है, उतना नहीं करना है. ठीक है, देयर
स्कूल
आर
का
इनफ.
हिंदी एग्जाम.
हाँ, देयर आर इनफ पेजेस इन दैट. उसका एक्स्ट्रा मार्क मांग के कुछ किसी को नहीं डराओगे आप वहां पे.
Yeah. So that's about it, guys. Last words, I think, Ravi. Any last words from you? We'll meet up on Friday with everyone, all of us, but that will be more about chilling a little in life. But last words for you in terms of DILR or anything overall.
आई थिंक यू नो, कितने भी बार बोलूं एक ही बात बोलूंगा कि एग्जाम में बैठ के नहीं सोचना है पेपर इजी है कि टफ है. एग्जाम में बैठ के बस ये सोचना है क्वेश्चन मेरे सामने है, हाउ कैन आई मैक्सिमाइज माई स्कोर, व्हेन कैन आई लीव अ सेट इफ आई हैव टू लीव अ सेट, इज दिस अ सेट वर्थ सॉल्विंग फुल्ली. बस इतना ही सोचो. राइट, बहुत ज्यादा एनालाइज मत करो कि अरे गेम्स आ गया, अरे वन आ गया, अरे अरेंजमेंट में कैसे नहीं कर पाया. ना ना ना, अरेंजमेंट पिछले 6 साल में 6 बार मैं नहीं कर पाया पेपर में. चलो मैं बता दे रहा हूँ, ठीक है, मान लो ये सच है कि मैं नहीं कर पाया. ठीक, मुझे डर लगता है अरेंजमेंट से, मुझे गेम्स अच्छा लगता है. तो so it is, if you take that any kind of a set to your ego, it is not a good sign. So avoid ego inside the exam hall. Just go with this approach that okay, if the paper is tough, it is tough. If the paper is easy, it is easy. ठीक, easy for me. I will try. If there are 40 minutes in front of me, there are 22 questions probably that I'm going to face. How many can I solve? That's it. Whether I solved 8, is it a good attempt or not? That we will analyze later when your answer sheet comes out. Or in the post session analysis, you join us, we'll tell you whether you have done a good job or not. Is that what was expected of this paper? Sitting in the exam, don't think that right after you have done DILR, because that will screw with your performance in quant. ठीक है, तो चिल रहना है, अगले 2-3 दिन एकदम चिल रहना है. मॉक अभी नहीं लिखना, बुधवार हो गया, बहुत हो गया मेरे हिसाब से. कल एक आध सेक्शनल वगैरह लिखना है तो लिखो, बट आई वुड नॉट सजेस्ट, इफ योर प्रीवियस मॉक वाज गुड, देयर इज नो नीड व्हाई यू शुड राइट अनदर मॉक इन द नेक्स्ट 2 days. क्या सीख लोगे, राइट? सो दैट्स ऑल फ्रॉम माय साइड. जीवी,
Perfect. Just two things. Number one, whether the last mock that you've written was good or bad, it's a good thing. If it is good, you're going in on a high. If it's bad, think law of averages हो गया, खराब दिन गया, अच्छा ही दिन बाकी है. चाहे तुम्हें 0 आया, -5 आया, 50 आया, 20 आया, 10 आया, DILR में डजेंट मैटर. So even if I see some of you all stating it was my worst performance, it was a worst performance, it was a worst performance. Forget it. It was my worst performance. If I go back to 2011 when I wrote CAT, the last two mocks that I wrote, मेरे mocks में generally काफी अच्छे scores आते थे. I had never scored below a 94, 95 percentile. The last two mocks I wrote, I scored 78 percentile and 71 percentile. For a guy who had never scored below a 94. CAT, no problem. सो द ऑब्जेक्टिव वॉज ठीक है, वर्स्ट डे गया, खत्म है. वो डिफिकल्ट था, इजी था, मेरे को फर्क ही नहीं पड़ा. 71 78 आया, ठीक है. आई वाज लाइक इट्स आउट ऑफ द सिस्टम. इजी था, डिफिकल्ट था, डजंट मैटर. सेट्स देख लेना, अगर कोई अच्छा सेट लगा, उसमें कोई लगा कि हाँ मेरे से हो जाना चाहिए था, वो देख लो. परसेंटाइल डिफिकल्ट इजी था, पेपर था, नहीं था, फॉरगेट ऑल ऑफ दैट. ठीक है, दैट्स वन. नंबर टू, लाइक आई हैव स्टेटेड, इन दोज 2 hours of the paper, in those 2 hours, Mamba mentality. I am a stud. मेरे से नहीं हो रहा, इंडिया में किसी से नहीं हो रहा. मेरे से हो रहा तो भी इंडिया में किसी से नहीं हो रहा, सिर्फ मुझसे हो रहा. साइड वाले ने भी कर लिया, उसके 20 ग्रीन है, उसको कुछ नहीं आता, उसने सब गैस मारा है सी. जस्ट अज्यूम दैट everything going on is awesome at my end. That's all that you should do. Forget everything. You are scoring 0 now, you could end up scoring 30 in DILR in CAT also. You could end up scoring 75, 80 on the CAT day also. You don't know what will happen. Okay? So just be positive, sleep well, get up on the right side of the bed, eat well, relax, reach your location and center in advance. अगर कट ऑफ टाइम 7:30 रिपोर्टिंग टाइम है और कट ऑफ 8:15 है, ये नहीं कि मैं 7:45 प्लान कर रहा हूँ और बीच में मैं चल रहा था और कोई एक्सीडेंट हो गया और मेरा आधा घंटा टाइम चला गया. यू डोंट नो, थिंग्स हैपन. It could be that one bad day when something like that you will come across. Don't do that. Plan to reach early. You might go in a little later, but door, वो जो सेंटर है, सेंटर के दरवाजे के बाहर खड़े रहना टाइम पे, कम वॉट में. अंदर कब जाना है, यू टेक अ कॉल. बट preempt, be ready for anything untoward while going so that you reach on time. Carry a water bottle, a see-through water bottle. कुछ घड़ी मत पहनना, कुछ इयरिंग मत पहनना, कुछ नोज रिंग मत पहनना, कुछ कड़ा मत पहनना, कुछ मत पहनना, नहीं पहनने देंगे, नहीं रखने देंगे. डोंट कैरी इट. Just relax, go in, meditate, have fun. Okay? All the very best from both of us. Hope you enjoyed the session. Hope this was helpful. GP will catch up with you all tomorrow to do something similar like Jijo did yesterday and we did today, but for the quant section. And all of us will catch you once again on Friday to just do basic bakar, just have fun, just relax, hoping कि कुछ नहीं है. भाई कुछ नहीं पहनना मतलब यार कुछ ज्वेलरी नहीं पहनना. विराज अलग ही लेवल पे. रही, if your last mock went off well, please don't take another mock. Okay, relax. That's it from our end. Hope you've enjoyed the DILR sessions we brought to you this year, the mock analysis that we've done, and hope you had fun. We'll catch you all on the other side. We will catch you on Friday, then we'll catch you again on Sunday. Slot 1 for me, slot 3 for Ravi, and then towards the end, ek bar, for a wrap up of all the slots. To some of you all who are asking, slot 2 people, slot 1 में खाली paper pattern देख लेना और कुछ नहीं. Slot 3 people, slot 1 and 2 का paper pattern देख लेना और कुछ नहीं, और कुछ मत करना. Okay, that's it from our end. All the very best. Stay positive, have fun, drink enough water, and those in Delhi NCR, please ensure you are masked up when you go to the exam. You do not want to be coughing. Take care.
Stress on water. ठीक है, drink enough water. कुछ भी मत पीना, random चीज है. ठीक है, वो 30th evening को कर लो जो करना है. All the best.
That's it. Good night. Bye bye. All the best.